After parking the Valentine's Day gift from his landlady in the underground garage, Leo swung by the convenience store at the entrance of the apartment complex, intending to buy a pack of cigarettes. Now that he had a car this nice, Leo planned to give the Mercedes his landlady had bought him to his parents. His family was reasonably well off. His folks were healthy and financially stable. As long as there wasn't a major crisis, they would never ask him for money, unlike his two troublemaking sisters. Thanks to those late nights grinding on social apps for cash rewards, Leo's bank account was now tipping past $10 million. He planned to use the capital to launch a side hustle even more lucrative than writing web fiction. Once his income stream was high enough, even if his mansion at Willow Creek Estates was discovered, it wouldn't raise too many eyebrows. As for what he'd do next, he hadn't decided on the specifics, but he was leaning towards something in the tech sector. Just as he tapped his card to pay at the counter, Leo felt a tug on his sleeve. He turned to see Lily Reed, that sweet dummy, looking at him with a bashful smile. She was holding a heavy grocery bag filled with fruits and vegetables. Leo held his cigarettes and watched her with an amused expression, wondering how she managed to move as silently as a ghost. Yesterday had been a sweet Valentine's Day, and now she stood before him, hesitating, unsure what to say. Usually, Leo was the one to break the ice with a smile, and their conversations would flow naturally from there. But now, with him just watching her in silence, the socially awkward Lily was at a complete loss. Her innocent mind even started to wonder if she'd done something wrong. After several seconds of silent eye contact, it was Lily who broke the tension. She nervously shifted the grocery bag. "I just went shopping," she said tentatively. "How about we have fish for lunch?" "Haha, you're too much." Leo couldn't hold back a laugh, breaking character. He took her free hand and led her out of the store. "What did you buy?" Noticing how heavy the bag was, he took it from her and glanced inside. Just some ordinary ingredients and a whole carp, already cleaned and prepped. "Don't go shopping alone next time," Leo said, gently squeezing her fingers, which were red from the bag's handles. "When I have time, I'll drive you." "Okay, I will," Lily replied obediently. Her soft, slender fingers slowly tightened around his hand, returning his grip. As they walked hand in hand toward the complex entrance, a guy sitting on a concrete bollard, scrolling on his phone, made Leo's entire body jolt. It was Zach, his best friend since childhood. "Leo, why aren't you answering my texts? The security guard at your gate won't." "Let me." Zach looked up and saw Leo approaching with Lily. Just as he was about to greet him, he froze, realizing the girl holding Leo's hand was not Chloe Miller, the campus queen of PSU. It was a girl he had never seen before, and she was every bit as beautiful as Chloe. "I left my phone at home." After all his recent social conditioning, Leo's momentary panic quickly subsided. He steadied himself and made the introductions with a calm smile. "Zach, this is my girlfriend, Lily Reed." "Lily, this is my childhood friend, Zach. He's a PSU grad, too." The only reason Leo could be so composed was his absolute trust in his close friends. They had known each other for years, and while they constantly gave each other shit, he knew that when it came to the important stuff, as long as it wasn't a serious crime, they'd have his back. It was a different kind of loyalty, where a girl's friends might advise her to break up, a guy's friends would help him cover his tracks. "Hi, nice to meet you," Lily said, her voice filled with earnest excitement as she greeted Leo's friend. You too," Zach stammered, nodding repeatedly. His mind was a swirling vortex of a million questions. "You should head on up," Leo said, letting go of Lily's hand and giving her the grocery bag. Lily nodded, then asked curiously, Are you coming back for lunch?" Holy crap, they're living together? The question hit Zach like a ton of bricks. It meant they had been together for a while now. He'd just seen Leo with Chloe a few months ago. Had Leo been two-timing them all along? And with two girls this gorgeous? "Damn it, you lucky bastard." Leo slung an arm around Zach's shoulders and waved at Lily with a smile. "Not today, I've got something to do. I'll be back for dinner." "Okay," Lily said, not thinking anything of it, and carried the bag into the complex. The moment she was out of sight, Zach's friendly demeanor vanished. "You've gone too far, man," he hissed. "The campus queen isn't enough for you." When a friend is caught cheating, most guys feel the same way, a potent cocktail of envy and a sense of injustice for the girls involved. But loyalty to a brother meant you didn't blow his cover. "Hey, easy there, Zach. I'm scum. I'm an animal. I know," Leo said with a shit-eating grin. He pulled out the pack of Reds he'd just bought, offered one to Zach, and lit for him. "How'd you know I lived here, anyway?" Leo hadn't even told Chloe his address. Besides his family, no one knew. "I ran into your mom on the street, and she told me," Zach said, exhaling a complicated puff of smoke. "Oh, right." Leo nodded in understanding, then asked tentatively, You came all the way out here to find me. Is this about Jenna? Zach shot him a surprised look. How did you know? Dude, please. You usually just text me. If you're willing to take an Uber all the way here, it has to be important, Leo explained. And yesterday was Valentine's Day, which means it has to be about a woman. Damn, man. It's like you've got a cheat code for life or something, Zach said, shaking his head in disbelief. You've been gone a few months, and I barely recognize you. Ah, you're hilarious, Zach. Leo laughed nervously and quickly changed the subject. So what's up? Zach's expression was a mix of emotions. I asked Jenna out again yesterday. So, she shot you down again? Leo said, completely unsurprised. Dude, I told you, the more you simp for a girl like that, the colder she gets. You just don't listen. No, that's not it. I was going to ask her one last time yesterday. If she said no, I was done. I was just going to focus on making money. Zach dropped his cigarette and crushed it under his shoe. But she said yes. For real. If Zach had gotten together with a normal girl, Leo would have been thrilled for his friend. But he had met this Jenna before. She was decent looking, but not a showstopper, and her every move screamed high-maintenance drama queen. She was constantly finding new ways to get Zach to spend money on her. Whenever Zach was about to give up and focus on his job, Jenna would swoop in with some sweet texts, dangling the possibility that he could still win her over. Leo fundamentally disapproved of his friend getting involved with such a manipulative woman. He and their other friends had tried to warn Zach countless times, but he wouldn't listen, completely mesmerized by her. At this point, Leo wouldn't be surprised if she was pregnant and looking for a schmuck to play the father. There were so many guys like that these days. They had little to no experience with women, so if any reasonably attractive girl showed them the slightest bit of kindness or availability, they would bend over backward, throwing everything they had at her. They naively believed that their sincerity would eventually win her heart, and they'd ride off into the sunset together. They didn't realize that in today's world, most women aren't buying that anymore. The nice guy had been phased out by the fast-paced, transactional nature of modern dating. In online slang, these self-proclaimed devoted men had their own special, pathetic label, simps. And being a simp, my friends, had 100 downsides and no benefits. If you were lucky, you'd simp for a decent girl who would let you down gently and firmly. She wouldn't lead you on or would try to get things out of you. You'd feel crappy for a while, and then you'd move on. If you were unlucky, you'd end up like Zach, simping for a high-maintenance schemer who would never agree to be your girlfriend, but would happily let you shower her with gifts, playing you like a fiddle. The moment you were no longer useful, she'd kick you to the curb and find her next target. It was a harsh but true reality. Love obtained by begging can only ever be sustained by kneeling. No one feels sorry for a simp. Zach nodded, but his face showed none of the excitement of a man who had finally won over his dream girl. Instead, he looked world-weary. After a few minutes of silence, Zach spoke, his voice strained. Leo, I'm in a tight spot right now. Can you lend me $3,000? Jenna said she wants to go to the Aura concert next Saturday. Leo saw right through it. Let me guess. She said she'd only be your girlfriend if you took her to the concert, right? The only reason Zach had mentioned his success before the concert was pride. He didn't want Leo to think he'd bought his way into a relationship. He was even, pathetically, trying to protect Jenna's image. Zach's lips formed a thin line. Finally, he nodded. I'll pay you back next month when I get my paycheck. Zach worked as a photography assistant. It was simple work, setting up equipment before a shoot, helping the photographer move gear. He made about $4,000 a month, which was a decent living. Leo hesitated for a moment, then shrugged. I'll Venmo you later. Thanks, man. Zach managed a tired smile, then asked curiously, Leo, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? He'd never been in a real relationship and had no idea if what he was doing was right. Could a girlfriend you paid forever last? Leo countered, You mean a girl who only agrees to be your girlfriend if you take her to a concert? Zach nodded, looking at Leo earnestly. I don't see a problem with it, Leo said calmly. It's normal to spend some money when you're chasing a girl. Okay, good. A wave of relief washed over Zach. If Leo, who was juggling 2 girlfriends, thought spending money was no big deal, then buying concert tickets for a girl he liked couldn't be that bad. However, Leo added, his words cutting like a razor, if I were you, I'd be taking her to a hotel that same night. What the hell, seriously? Isn't that way too fast? Zach looked horrified. Who goes to a hotel right after they start dating? Zach, you need to understand something. A relationship is a two-way street. It's about mutual give and take. The only time you give without expecting anything in return is when you're visiting a grave, Leo explained with a dismissive smirk. You're spending money on her. If she keeps leading you on like before, what is she but an ATM with a pulse? So my advice is this. Now that you're officially together, take her to bed. That way, when she eventually dumps you, You won't feel so bad about it. Dude, we just got together. Don't curse me like that, Zach said anxiously. You make it sound like we're not going to last. Leo's tone was dead serious. Zach, mark my words. You two will break up within a month. Guarantee. Zach fell silent. He was already feeling lost in this new relationship, and Leo's prediction only made him more anxious. But hey, you never know. Maybe she'll have a change of heart and realize you're a good guy, Leo said, clapping him on the shoulder consolingly. Either way, you win. If you break up, you'll have gotten some dating experience. If you don't, you get the girl. See? It's a win-win. Huh, when you put it like that, it actually makes sense. Zach nodded, a flicker of understanding in his eyes. There you go. Glad you see my way, Leo grinned. You're off today, right? Come with me. I need to buy them some gifts. Huh, what gifts? Zach asked, following Leo toward the underground garage. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I totally forgot to get them anything. I'm making up for it today. Them being the girl from earlier. And Chloe, Zach asked, tilting his head. Yeah, who else? Leo nodded, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. He then boasted, see that RTX 4090 I posted on my profile? Chloe helped me get it. Zach stared at him, dumbfounded. Then, a look of disbelief crossed his face. Wait, don't tell me you spent Valentine's Day with both of them. Of course not. Don't be ridiculous, Leo corrected him earnestly. I spent the morning with Lily and the evening with Chloe. I'm not skilled enough to get them to spend the day together, yet. Damn it, that's still insane. The thought of two perfect women fawning over Leo on Valentine's Day, while he was racking his brain over a girl who could dump him at any moment, made Zach grind his back teeth in frustration. Damn it, you lucky, lucky bastard. After Leo and Zach finished shopping for gifts, it was already past 6. When they got back, Lily was in Leo's apartment, having just finished cooking dinner. Zach decided to crash at Leo's for the night and have him drive him home in the morning. In Leo's cramped studio apartment, Zach, the guest, sat on a small stool, watching with a mixture of curiosity and envy as the two of them bustled around the kitchen. He couldn't help but smile like a proud aunt watching her favorite nephew. As a photographer, Zach had a keen eye for observation. He noticed that whenever Lily had a spare moment, her gaze was fixed on Leo. The affection and dependency were practically overflowing. He had to admit, this girl's personality was perfect. She was incredibly patient and capable in the kitchen, and her every movement was calm and unhurried, giving off a gentle, sweet-natured vibe. In this day and age, Zach had almost never seen a girl his age so comfortable with household chores. Maybe this is what a real couple looks like, he thought. Who wouldn't want a girlfriend who only had eyes for them? But then he remembered that Leo was two-timing her, and a pang of worry for Lily shot through him. How was Leo going to handle things with such a pure, kind-hearted girl? If she found out he had another girlfriend, she would be devastated. Simps have a powerful capacity for empathy. Just imagining a girl that innocent crying made Zach's own heart ache. Dinner's ready, Leo announced, carrying over a pot of spicy fish, the red chili oil bubbling furiously. Zach quickly cleared the clutter off the table. Wiping the oil from his hands, Leo jutted his chin at Zach. Want a beer? Nah, don't go downstairs for me, Zach said, shaking his head, not wanting to trouble them. Don't have to. I've got some in the fridge. Leo called out to Lily in the kitchen, and she brought out 2 cold beers, opening one and handing it to Zach. Zach asked casually, I thought you were a lightweight. Since when do you keep beer around? You can blame your sister-in-law for that, Leo said, glancing at Lily, who was sitting next to him and teasing her with a smile. It was hot a while back, and she started buying me a few beers to keep in the fridge every day. Now I've kind of developed a taste for it. Lily's cheeks flushed red as she lowered her head. The affectionate title caught her off guard, but it made her incredibly happy. Is that so? Zach instantly regretted opening his mouth. He clearly hadn't had enough of being the third wheel. He glanced at the shyly blushing Lily and mustered the courage to start a conversation. So where are you from? Idaho. Lily answered earnestly, a little nervous. This was the first time Leo had brought a friend home for dinner, and she was treating it as a very important occasion. Oh, Idaho, Zach mumbled, his mind racing. He thought to himself that if he and Jenna ever broke up, maybe he'd take a trip to Idaho. He might just meet a girl as gentle and pure as Lily. So, how did Leo win you over? Lily was so introverted that Zach, usually shy himself, didn't feel his usual anxiety and could actually initiate a conversation. If Lily had been even slightly more talkative, he would have clammed up instantly. Lily glanced at Leo, a little embarrassed, and answered truthfully, I pursued him. Cough, cough, what? Zach had just swallowed a mouthful of rice and nearly choked. You pursued him? For real? Lily's face was as red as a blooming rose as she shyly nodded. When they first met, She had been the one to confess her feelings first. It wasn't wrong to say she had been the one to chase him. No way. How? Zach looked Leo up and down incredulously. Sure, the guy had cleaned up his act and stood a lot straighter now, but he wasn't that handsome. A girl like Lily, innocent, with an insane body and stunning face. Zach felt she could easily date a movie star. It was one thing for her to be with Leo, but for her to be the one who pursued him? Just eat, Zach. I'd advise you not to ask any more questions, Leo said, grinning from ear to ear. I'm afraid you won't be able to sleep tonight. Son of a bitch. Zach mentally cursed as he clinked his bottle with Leo's. The bitter beer a perfect match for the pain in his heart. We all just want you to live a good life, man, but did you have to live it this well? Making millions a month, juggling 2 campus beauties. Could he spare a thought for his friend's feelings? After dinner, Leo gave Lily the down jacket he'd bought for her. It's been getting cold lately. I got you this. Try it on when you get home to see if it fits. And happy late Valentine's Day. Lily, much like his landlady, wasn't materialistic. As long as the thought was there, she would be happy with any gift. She took the jacket, looking stunned. But you already gave me a Valentine's gift yesterday, so I can't give you one today. Thinking of the box of snacks from yesterday, Leo felt his face flush. If I want to, every day can be Valentine's Day, he said, feigning annoyance. But, no buts. Leo didn't bother explaining further. He placed his hands on her shoulders and gently pushed her toward the door. It's getting late. Go home, take a shower, and get to bed. We'll talk tomorrow night. I haven't done the dishes yet, Lily reminded him, hesitating. Forget the damn dishes, I'll do them. Now, go home and rest. After pushing Lily out the door, Leo turned back to Zach with a smirk. See? Women are so much trouble. I'm telling you, you should just stay single. Whoa, be a little nicer to her, man. Zach couldn't watch anymore. She's such a sweet girl. Why are you so impatient with her? Nicer? Is this a romance novel? Leo scoffed, then cut straight to the point. Zach, you can't be too much of a pushover or a people pleaser with women like you are. You don't need to make a federal case out of every little thing. Think about it. When you were simping for Jenna, wasn't she always aloof and dismissive? And when you were about to give up and cut her off, didn't she suddenly start texting you again? Now that you mention it, yeah, that's exactly what happened, Zach murmured, the realization dawning on him. Exactly. Your girlfriend isn't the Queen of England. You don't have to cater to her every whim like a servant, Leo explained patiently while gathering the dishes. If you're the only one putting in all the effort in a relationship, you gradually lose your own standing and control. She'll start to see you as clingy and pathetic, and over time, she'll grow tired of you. A breakup at that point is inevitable. Honestly, none of this is going to help you. You can memorize it all, but the next time you're in front of a girl, you'll go right back to simping, Leo said bluntly. My advice, get more practice. Once you've been around enough women, you'll realize they're not that hard to figure out. Yeah, I get the theory, Zach sighed, helping clear the table. But where am I supposed to find women to practice on? You know me. If a girl walks past me on the street, I practically shrink into my collar. Look at you. It's a miracle you even found a job. Leo couldn't help but laugh, seeing a reflection of his former, socially anxious self. After a moment of silence, Zach couldn't hold back his curiosity. Leo, what's your plan for the future? What plan? Leo asked distractedly. With the two of them, Zach pressed, his voice a mix of nosiness and genuine concern. Who are you going to marry? Or who are you going to break up with? Leo glanced up at Zach for a second before silently returning to clearing the table. Leo, I know it's not my place to say this, but you have to show some responsibility, Zach lectured, his voice rising with passion. We grew up together. I've never thought of you as the kind of asshole who just uses people and throws them away. If you don't see a future with Lily, you need to explain it to her properly. End things on good terms. Crash. A ceramic bowl slipped from Leo's grasp and shattered on the floor. Zach mistook it as a signal that Leo didn't want to talk about it anymore and sheepishly shut his mouth. It's broken, Leo said, nudging a shard with his foot as he looked around for a broom. So what? It's just a bowl, Zach said dismissively. You're making so much money now. Who cares about one bowl? Leo grinned. I was talking about my sense of responsibility. Zach stared at the broken pieces on the floor, his eyes widening in disbelief. Holy shit. Are you saying? You're going to... all of them? Please, Zach, for the love of God, stop nagging and go take a shower, Leo said, grabbing the broom and laughing. The internet is right. All you single guys love giving relationship advice. How about you focus on winning over your precious Jenna first? Damn it. I'm just trying to look out for you, Zach grumbled. Since Leo clearly didn't want to discuss it, he wisely dropped the subject, put down the dishes, and headed for the bathroom. Worse than my mom, Leo muttered, shaking his head. The reason Leo dared to tell Zach everything, without holding anything back, was because he knew his friend would keep his secret. That's what true friendship was. There were things you wouldn't even tell your parents, but you'd lay it all out for your childhood best friend. Zach understood the gravity of the situation. If he went and told Lily that Leo was a two-timing player, the only outcome would be Leo and Lily's relationship imploding. Zach would gain nothing and would lose a loyal friend who helped him when he was down and trusted him with his biggest secrets. If their other friends found out what he'd done, they'd all distance themselves from him. It was social suicide. The guy just Venmo'd you $3,000 to help you get a girlfriend, and you turn around and betray his trust? No one would ever speak to you candidly again. After their showers, the two men lay back-to-back on the small bed. Zach tossed and turned, unable to sleep, his own troubles mingling with the thought of his friend's double life. Leo, you can't hide this forever, can you? Zach asked seriously. In a few years, you're going to have to give them an answer. Unless you move to a country where you can have 2 wives. Leo replied, annoyed. Zach, do you know what you're doing right now? I say 2 words, and you get defensive. Zach shot back indignantly. I'm trying to help you see the error of your ways, to make a tough choice so you can at least end up with one of these amazing girls. And do you know what I'm doing? What are you doing? Leo rolled over and shoved his phone in Zach's face. It was a chat window. He was texting Chloe. He had specifically driven to a store further away to buy a giant Pikachu plushie for her as a makeup Valentine's gift. Elf_princess, wow. This Pikachu is huge. I love it. Thank you, you big dork. Offline mode. You have no idea how long it took me to find one that big. Offline mode. All right, that's enough. It's a Monday tomorrow. You should get some sleep. Talk to you after your class's furious kissing meme, Elf_princess. Haha, I love that sticker. It's mine now. Sticker thief. You're talking to Chloe? Zach asked, craning his neck. What else would I be doing? See, while you were lecturing me, I was already balancing both sides, keeping things perfectly even, Leo said with a triumphant grin. So, instead of worrying about me, you should be figuring out how to get your Jenna into bed. I don't need your advice, buddy. Screw you, I'm going to sleep. Zach slapped Leo's thigh forcefully and rolled over, done with his friend's messy life. Well, he thought about it. What Leo said was true. If he had the skills to juggle 2 relationships, he probably had a plan to deal with the fallout. What right did he, a total rookie who'd basically paid for his first girlfriend, have to coach a grandmaster on how to play the game? With a heavy heart, Zach pulled out his phone and opened his chat with Jenna. City boy, Jenna, I got paid. I'll come pick you up at your dorm next Saturday. Sweet strawberry. No need, just meet at the airport. City boy. Okay, I got the days off work, so we can have a fun couple of days, city boy. I looked it up online. There's a lot of cool stuff to do near the concert venue. We could go boating. Sweet strawberry. MHM, you can plan it. City boy, no problem. Sweet strawberry. Okay, it's kind of stuffy today. I don't feel well. I'm going to shower and go to bed. City boy. Forwards video. How to deal with a stuffy head. One simple trick. Throughout their conversation, Zach was completely deferential, constantly trying to engage a cold, indifferent audience. It was nothing like the sweet, playful banter between Leo and Chloe, where you could feel the affection right through the screen. Am I really a simp? Zach thought, turning off his phone with a deep sigh. You're up. When Leo woke up the next morning, Zach was just getting back with breakfast, which he was now unpacking onto the table. Come get some food. I got donuts and coffee, and some bagels, Zach said. Like most introverted guys, despite his shyness and slight insecurity, he had a warm heart and took great care of his friends and family. Hey, thanks, Zach, Leo said, grabbing a bagel and stuffing it in his mouth. You know, if I were Jenna, I would have been with you a long time ago. Gross, dude. Get away from me, Zach said with a look of disgust, turning his attention to scrolling through TikTok on his phone. A few minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Leo opened it to find Lily, holding several steaming bagels and 2 cups of coffee. She was wearing an old, loose-fitting school uniform with a heavy tote bag slung over her shoulder, a radiant smile on her face. I brought you breakfast. Want some? You're a little late this time, boss, Leo said, pointing to the plastic bags on the table and teasing her. We're already eating. Lily glanced silently at Zach, a fleeting, almost imperceptible trace of resentment in her eyes, as if her job of feeding Leo had just been usurped. That momentary look sent a shiver down Zach's spine. Thinking it must have been a trick of the light, he looked at her again, but she was back to being the sweet, innocent girl he'd seen before. No way, Zach thought, shaking his head. I must have imagined it. A girl that pure and kind couldn't possibly have such a cold, possessive, Yandra-like glint in her eyes. Do you want some coffee, then? Lily asked with a smile, offering the cups to Leo, her stubbornness almost cute. All right, give it to me, Leo said, taking the breakfast from her and shooing her away with a wave of his hand. Hurry up and get to school. Stop focusing all your energy on me. Are you trying to be my mother? Only then did Lily's smile return. She walked toward the elevator, looking back every few steps. She brings you breakfast every day? Zach asked casually. Pretty much every day since we made it official, Leo said, taking a nonchalant sip of coffee. Damn, I'm so jealous, Zach muttered, the envy written all over his face. To have a girl who only had eyes for him bring him breakfast and cook him dinner every day. He'd be thrilled, even if she wasn't a stunning beauty with a killer body. I just don't get it, Zach mused. You're not drop-dead gorgeous or anything. You used to be this gloomy goblin, and you roll around in your sleep like you're practicing martial arts. How did both of them fall for you? Leo thought for a moment, then offered an example. Zach, you remember that guy in our class in college, Gus Young? Zach nodded. Yeah, that dude was seriously handsome, and his family owned an e-commerce company, so he was loaded. And do you remember how he chased our class president for 4 years and got nowhere, only for some average-looking guy from the economics department to swoop in and win her over? Of course I remember, Zach said, nodding vigorously. Everyone on the campus subreddit was saying it was a case of a frog catching a swan. Gus even wanted to hire some guys to teach that dude a lesson. So why do you think Gus couldn't get her, but the average guy did it in just a few weeks? I don't know, Zach said, shaking his head with a serious expression. He sensed Leo was about to teach him something important. Leo held up a finger. It's simple. Neediness. Neediness? Zach repeated the word softly, then shook his head, confused. I don't get it. It's a simple formula. Gus was rich, right? But don't forget, the class president's family was also very well off. So how did Gus try to win her over? Leo's knuckles rapped against the tabletop. He bought her flowers, hung up banners confessing his love, flaunted his wealth. She didn't care about any of that stuff. In fact, she probably found it childish. Of course, she wouldn't want a guy like that for a boyfriend. Oh, I think I'm starting to get it, Zach said. So how do you think the other guy got her? I don't know the details, but I can make an educated guess, Leo said, taking a sip of coffee to wet his throat. Let me ask you, what was the class president's personality? Her personality? Zach thought for a moment. A bookworm, I guess. She was always either in the library or in the classroom studying, and she got great grades. That's the key. That's her need, Leo said, cutting straight to the point. And do you remember that whenever she rejected Gus, her excuse was always that she just wanted to focus on her studies and wasn't interested in dating? Zach nodded eagerly. Yeah, I remember one time, right after she turned him down, she went straight to the library. So, the other guy approached it the right way, Leo analyzed, zeroing in on the crucial detail. He must have figured out that she was all about academics and didn't want a typical college romance. So he probably used studying as an excuse to get to know her. From there, he gradually learned about her other interests and slowly won her over. Damn, if that's true, that was some serious long-game strategy, Zach said, impressed. Then he suddenly had a thought. Wait, that's not right. Didn't she tell everyone, not just Gus, that she wasn't going to date in college? Why did she turn around and get with that guy? Oh my God, you actually believe that? Leo explained, exasperated. When a girl says she doesn't want to date, it just means she doesn't want to date those guys. Unless she's sworn a vow of celibacy or there's a medical reason. If she meets a guy she actually likes, of course she's going to date him. Wow, I had no idea dating was this complicated, Zach murmured, as if waking from a dream. Then, another question popped into his head. So, how did Lily pursue you? And why did you say yes? I don't know. She just moved in 2 months ago, and we've been together for less than a month, Leo said truthfully. I thought she was beautiful and had a great body, so when she confessed, I said yes. What the hell, that's so scummy. Zach exclaimed indignantly. You agreed, just because she's pretty? You didn't care about her personality at all. Isn't that obvious? She's gorgeous and has an amazing figure. Why wouldn't I say yes? Leo shrugged dismissively. Besides, if she didn't have a pretty face, why would I be interested in taking the time to get to know her personality? You son of a bitch. You're a player and you're not even trying to hide it, are you? Zach said, a strange note of admiration in his voice. Honestly, after thinking about it, Zach realized that if he were in the same situation, he'd probably do the same thing. If a girl as beautiful and well-built as Lily confessed to him, his first instinct would hardly be to turn her down. What do you mean, player? It's not just guys. Most girls think the same way, Leo added. Do you really think any girl in today's world is going to look past a guy's greasy, sloppy appearance to get to know his inner self? You can think of it this way, Leo explained with a straight face. I'm confirming the relationship first, and then I'll get to know her personality. Let's say I'm with Lily and I find out our values don't align. I'd break up with her immediately. Wouldn't you call that cutting my losses and doing a public service? And what if her values are good? If her values are good, then I'll treat her well, Leo said matter-of-factly. You know what they say on TikTok, don't fail a good girl and don't waste a bad one. Wait, are you speaking English? Zach was completely floored by Leo's twisted logic. I know what all those words mean, but when you put them together, they make no sense. No matter how you looked at it, everything he said reeked of a player's mentality. But if you thought about it, there was a cynical, pragmatic truth to it. You still have a lot to learn, little brother, Leo said, smugly tossing his empty coffee cup into the trash. All right, I have to write today, so I can't have you over for dinner. Fine by me. I've got stuff to do today too, Zach said, patting his knees as he stood up. Well, Leo, now that I'm with Jenna, I'll probably be hitting you up for advice a lot. Don't get sick of me. You got it, man, Leo said, patting his chest confidently. If you're having trouble, I can even chat with her for you. I guarantee I could have her wrapped around my finger in a week. Seriously? A week? Zach's interest was piqued. If Leo could act as his proxy and win Jenna over in just a week, he was tempted to try it. Maybe even faster. Your job and looks are decent, so it wouldn't take me long to build a compelling persona for you. You could even read our chat history to see how it's done. For a materialistic, drama-loving girl like Jenna, if Leo went all out, he could probably have her completely captivated in 2 days tops. Nah, forget it. Even if he got her interested, I'd blow it as soon as we met in person, Zach said, shaking his head. The whole idea felt weird, so he rejected it. Besides, it would feel like I was asking you to cheat with my girlfriend for me. I'll just figure out on my own. Haha, right? I'll take good care of your wife for you. Screw you. Zach laughed, putting on his jacket. I'm heading out. I'll hit you up if I have any more questions. All right, see ya. Text me if you need anything. After Zach left, Leo opened his laptop for the first time in a while and started updating his progression fantasy novel, planning to grind out some extra cash over the next few months. Zach's visit had certainly opened his eyes to some potential future complications. Of course, Leo wasn't naive enough to think that money alone could solve a love triangle, especially since neither girl was particularly materialistic. But money was still crucial. If and when the inevitable drama erupted, having deep pockets would be a massive advantage. He had already uploaded his entire backlog of chapters. With his enhanced typing speed and writing talent, Leo's fingers flew across the keyboard. After a solid morning of writing, his fingers slightly sore, he had another 100,000 words ready to go. He closed the writing software with a satisfied sigh. After uploading the day's chapter, Leo started to estimate the total value of his book. He probably had another 1,000,000 words of plot left in it. Including royalties and syndication fees, the novel might earn him a little over $10 million in total, but it would take about a year. $10 million. Back when he was a struggling writer, he wouldn't have dreamed of making that much. But now he already had that much sitting in his bank account, not to mention a $40 million mansion at Willow Creek Estates. If he stuck to just writing novels, even if every single one was a bestseller, the income would be too slow. What if I learned to produce my own media? I could adapt my novels into short-form video series. These days, many successful web fiction authors were branching out into multimedia or screenwriting. The short-form video industry was especially profitable. You take a popular novel, hire actors, and film it as a series, promoting on TikTok. Once the plot reached a major climax, viewers would have to pay to see what happened next. These short-form dramas were hugely popular on TikTok, with a massive audience. Older men loved the rural soap operas and the disgrace or return stories. Younger guys loved action-packed fantasies and reincarnation sagas. Girls were hooked on historical dramas and romance. Basically, if you had a good story and the adaptation was decent, the profits would far exceed what you could make from just writing the novel. Several big-name authors had made fortunes this way, earning many times their writing royalties. Once they built a reputation from adaptations, they could transition into screenwriting and achieve complete financial freedom. Leo's book was a huge hit. He owned the rights, and he had the divine talent, master director skill. Why sell the rights to some other media company? Why not make the money himself? Yeah, this could work. After thinking it over, Leo decided it was a viable plan. With his director talent, it was just a matter of how much he could earn. If he managed it well, it was guaranteed to be more profitable than just writing. So, Leo started researching the web novel adaptation industry. He was still deep in his research when evening came and Lily arrived at his apartment to start cooking dinner. By then, Leo had a solid grasp of the business. He created a new account on TikTok, intending to use it as the official channel for his production company. The next steps were to find actors with both talent and looks, hire a production crew, buy the necessary camera equipment, and then spend some money on TikTok to promote the series and drive traffic. So, does this mean you're going to be a director now? Are you going to stop writing? It was late at night in his small apartment. Leo was lying in bed, video calling Chloe, and explaining his plan to pivot into media production. A cold front had moved in, and Chloe had wrapped herself in her comforter like a caterpillar. Her phone was propped on her pillow, showing only her cute, delicate face and a pair of big, clear eyes. In the background, Maya Pierce was furiously tapping at her phone, playing a game and occasionally cooing praises at the guy carrying her to victory. The other roommates were all in their own beds, whispering sweet nothings to their boyfriends through their screens. All of them were attractive, but Chloe's striking beauty had always unintentionally cast them as her supporting cast. It was just a fact of life. When Chloe had been single, all the guys on campus had focused on her. Now that she was officially taken, their attention had shifted to her roommates. If you didn't find someone your freshman year, your chances dwindled with each passing semester. Probably. Once I build up a name, I'll move in that direction, Leo said, his expression serious and thoughtful as his fingers flew across his keyboard. I'm mapping out the next steps now. It's going to get busy. I'll have to spend a lot of money on actors and equipment. He appeared to be completely focused on his career plan, graciously squeezing in time for a video call with Chloe. The truth was, he was simultaneously texting Lily in the apartment next door. Fortunately for him, Lily was too shy for face-to-face video calls. A simple text conversation was more than enough to make her happy. If she were like any other girl in the honeymoon phase of a relationship, she'd be clinging to him for video calls every day like Chloe was. No matter how many excuses he made, he couldn't possibly refuse all of them. Maintaining his principle of perfect balance, Leo was also discussing his new business plan with Lily. Talking about money with Chloe felt like outlining his future for his girlfriend. With Lily, he kept the atmosphere light, more like a rogue flirting with an innocent maiden. Offline mode. If we're short on actors, I'll just pull you onto the set. Smirk, always here. I'm afraid I wouldn't be very good. But I could play a maid who doesn't speak, the kind that just stands in the background. Awkward. Offline mode. Everyone else wants to be the star, and you're probably the only one who'd want to roll like that. Doge side at Leo, if you're short on cash, let me know. I can ask my dad, Chloe said, blinking her big, clear eyes. I have some savings of my own, too. You can think of it as an investment from me. I don't need money. The hard part is finding actors, Leo said, typing a response to Lily while periodically looking at the camera so Chloe wouldn't notice anything amiss. I'm planning to head down to LA tomorrow to see if I can find any actors with the right look and talent. I can do it, Chloe volunteered eagerly. If you need someone to play the female lead, I can help. Yeah, right? If your parents found out you dropped out of school to make movies with me, there's no telling what they'd do to me, Leo said with a scoff. Besides, dating you is already stressful enough. If you actually got famous and your fans found out about me, I wouldn't be safe walking down the street. I'd like to live a few more years, thanks. So you admit how amazing I am, Chloe preened, pleased by his rare compliment. She lifted her chin like a proud peacock and hummed. Ugh, stop with the PDA already. Maya, who had just won a few rounds in her game, had been in a great mood, but seeing the entire dorm room, except for her, cooing at their boyfriends, soured her mood instantly. She quickly got out of bed, shivered, and dove under Chloe's covers. She snuggled up against her friend's smooth face, grabbed Chloe's phone, and squeezed into the frame. Leo, I hear directors are always using the casting couch. If you get famous, are you going to be like that? Oh God, give me a break, Leo laughed. I don't even know if this thing will take off yet. Don't spread rumors. Maya nodded. True. With a girlfriend as gorgeous as Chloe, I guess you wouldn't have any reason to cheat. That's right, Chloe added smugly, her head resting on Maya's shoulder. Don't get me wrong. I was talking about the casting couch part, Maya said. After a few seconds, she burst out laughing. Ha ha, you're something else, you know that? Chloe huffed. Leo, just kidding, Leo said, quickly apologizing. You know what they say online, an actor with scandals is a good actor. What director doesn't have a few rumors floating around? I don't believe you, Chloe said with a stubborn pout. The day you start filming, I'm going to be there to supervise, to make sure you're not making eyes at the actresses. Oh, so the campus queen isn't enough for you, Leo? Well then, I'll have to punish you on Chloe's behalf, Maya declared triumphantly. She leaned over and planted a loud kiss on Chloe's cheek, her hand starting to roam mischievously under the covers. Hey, stop it, that tickles. Chloe shrieked with laughter, her phone tumbling between them. The camera feed became a blurry, jostling view of fabric, punctuated by Chloe's playful squeals. TSK, TSK. Girls will be girls, Leo said, shaking his head with a smile. He ended the video call. If he watched any longer, he'd be too worked up to sleep. Offline mode. All right, it's getting late. Go to bed. Doge holding a rose, always here. Okay. Always here. Good night, Leo cartoon character making a heart. After typing, okay, Lily's status showed she was typing for over 10 seconds before she bravely sent an emoji expressing her affection. Seeing the kind of emoji that only people his parents' age used, Leo sighed with a smile and typed back a playful insult. Offline mode. How did I end up with a dorky girlfriend like you? Always here, I'm not dorky. After a few more brief exchanges, Leo finally convinced her to go to sleep. Just as he was about to head for a shower, his phone buzzed again. Island Snow. Leo, have you noticed the amateur section has had a lot of updates the last couple of days? Offline mode. Leo was both baffled and intrigued. Why did this billionaire's daughter always say the most random, out-of-pocket things? Offline mode. I hadn't noticed. What's up? Leo decided to sidestep that particular landmine. He wasn't about to explain to her that because the day before yesterday was Valentine's Day, an increase in new adult content was perfectly normal. I don't know. I'm bored. Want to talk to you. Is that okay? Wow, so direct. Leo marveled at her straightforwardness. If more women were as direct as Eleanor Hayes, if they stopped asking their boyfriends bizarre, loaded questions and playing petty mind games, there would be far fewer jaded men and lovesick simps in the world. He glanced at the time. It was almost 10. He flopped back on the bed and started a somewhat stilted chat with her. In his presence, Eleanor was always eager to talk, rambling on about everything like a grade schooler writing an essay. Leo listened patiently, chiming in occasionally with a comment or his own opinion. Ding. Eleanor Hayes' affinity has increased by 5 points. Current affinity, 40. Please continue your efforts. Leo had been starting to think his conversation skills were getting rusty. Their chat felt so bland. But when the system notification chimed, he realized that sometimes just being a good listener without any fancy conversational tricks was enough to increase someone's affection. It was just a rare trait to find. Offline mode. Okay, it's 1 a.m. I have to go out tomorrow, so you should get some sleep. By the way, you haven't been playing with candles lately, have you? Island Snow, not as much. I've been seeing a therapist. He says I have a mild loneliness disorder and that I need to interact with people more, or it could develop into clinical depression. Offline mode. Depression? Is it that serious? Shock Doge. Island Snow, I don't know. My parents are really worried. Mom told me Dad's been getting a lot more gray hairs lately. The system chimed in his head, presenting a few paths forward. One was a cynical dismissal of her problems, while another suggested a more direct, helpful approach. As Leo was weighing his options, another message from Eleanor came through, a voice message. Leo, can I hear your voice? Her voice had a gentle, refined quality to it, a mix of girlish delicacy and the ingrained distance of the mega-rich, all tinged with a sort of weary exhaustion. How can you be lonely when you're rich? Leo murmured to himself with a wry smile, echoing one of the system's cynical prompts. Honestly, don't get it. I guess this is just one of those rich people problems. Considering her condition, Leo thought for a moment and then sent a voice message of his own. Wanted to take you to LA for a bit tomorrow. Her reply was almost instantaneous, her voice vibrating with excitement and urgency. It was just 2 words, yes. Please. As if afraid he would change his mind, she quickly followed up with a text. Island Snow, yes. I want to. All right, we'll meet at Waterfront Park tomorrow morning, Leo said, adding a serious condition. But you can't bring any bodyguards. No one following us. I don't want my life disrupted by other people. Eleanor's status was too high profile. Leo didn't like being in the spotlight. More importantly, his current status as a 2-timing player didn't allow for it. He wanted to keep as low a profile as possible. If it weren't for that, he would have just starred in his own short-form dramas with Chloe instead of looking for actors. Island Snow. Can my driver take me to the park? I'm not familiar with the area. I'm afraid I'll get lost if I go out alone. Offline mode, fine. But make sure they don't follow us around. Okay? Island Snow. Okay, I promise. They started chatting again. To help ease her condition, Leo switched to a voice call. The mood in her voice gradually brightened, a stark contrast to the weary tone from before. Maybe there really was something to this talk therapy. It's not a big deal, you know. Just get out more, talk to people more, and you'll get through it, Leo said, stifling a yawn. Okay, I'm really going to bed now. I have to be up early. You should get some sleep too. Just as he was about to use the bathroom and turn in, Eleanor spoke again. Can I have a picture of you? So I can find you at the park tomorrow. Without thinking much of it, Leo sent her a photo Chloe had taken of him, then preened. So, handsome, right? Eleanor's gentle voice came through the speaker. Not really. I've seen much more handsome Asian men abroad. Leo was decent looking, but Eleanor was a billionaire's daughter. She'd seen more handsome men than he could count. And since she had no social graces, she wouldn't bother with empty compliments. She just told the truth. TCH. Pearls before swine, I guess, Leo muttered. He knew she'd probably seen better, but this girl really didn't know how to talk to people. Even a simple, you look all right would have been fine. What does that mean? I know what swine are, but what are pearls in this context? Never mind, forget it. I'm going to sleep. You get some rest. Be there early tomorrow, Leo said with an exasperated sigh, ending the call without further explanation. Trying to communicate with a golden toad who'd never seen the bottom of a well was exhausting. He had just gotten back from the bathroom when he saw another text from her. Island Snow. Leo, did I make you angry? If I did, I apologize. Offline mode, no. Island Snow, oh good. I really enjoy talking to you. Can I message you every night? Offline mode, but I don't enjoy it. Leo screamed internally. My lady, can you please find someone else to bother? My little temple can't handle a deity of your stature. Offline mode. Hey, I'm not a professional conversationalist. Besides, those guys get paid. Island Snow money? After she typed those two words, Leo sensed what was coming and tried to type out a clarification. But it was too late. The notification sound on his phone changed from a simple buzz to the crisp, satisfying cha-ching of a cash register. Eleanor sent a rapid-fire series of transfers to Leo. The notifications were loud and fast, and each one was for the maximum limit on the app. A full $25,000. Leo was stunned. He had looked it up before. Didn't Venmo have a weekly transfer limit? How could she send him so much money back to back? And each one for the maximum amount? Was this some kind of special privilege for the rich? Even their transfer limits were higher? While she was sending the money, Leo tried to message her to stop. But Eleanor either didn't see his messages or simply didn't care, continuing to send him one huge sum after another. Only after she hit her own exclusive transfer limit did she finally send a text. Leo scrolled past more than a dozen transfer notifications to get to her latest message, his eyebrows twitching in disbelief. He was floored by how the super rich operated. Island Snow. I've hit the limit on this account. I'll switch to my international account and send you more. Offline mode, don't. I'm begging you. I don't want to go to jail for fraud. Can we please just talk normally? I'm on my knees here. Island Snow, why? You didn't defraud me. I gave it to you willingly. Offline mode, yeah right. You come from a powerful family. What if your dad finds out you sent me all this money and sues me? I can't win against you people in court. Island Snow, wait a second. A few minutes later, Eleanor sent another message that made Leo's jaw drop. Island Snow, the above transfers are all voluntary gifts. November 6th, 2024, 1:45 a.m. Signed, Eleanor Hayes. Island Snow, I asked my lawyer. If I do this, you'll win in court. You don't have to worry. Yes. Leo scratched his head frantically. He had absolutely no idea how to respond to this. Perhaps the only weakness of a player was a girl who had absolutely no defenses. Island Snow, Leo, I had a great time talking with you. Can I come find you again when I'm bored? Leo wanted to refuse. He was already running a dual-core processor every night, and it was taxing enough. Adding a third would surely overload his CPU. But as he scrolled back through the dozen or so staggering transfer records, an invisible force clamped down on the hands that were about to type no. Damn it, is this the invisible pressure of wealth? Offline mode, the money doesn't matter. The main thing is that I find talking to you really interesting, too. Rose, offline mode has accepted Eleanor Hayes' transfer. Island Snow, really? Thank you. Smile. Look at that. She was even thanking him. Well, I'll just consider this money her medical expenses, Leo thought. Worst case, I'll just help her treat her loneliness disorder. He had looked it up earlier. The best treatment for it was communication and sharing with others. Island Snow. So, Leo, can we stay on a voice call while we sleep? I've had insomnia ever since I came back to the country. I feel like I could sleep really well listening to your voice. Offline mode, I don't mind, but I snore. Are you sure you'll be able to sleep? Laugh cry emoji. Island Snow, it's okay. I don't mind. As soon as she sent the message, a voice call invitation popped up. Leo accepted. Her gentle voice came through the speaker. Hello, Leo. Leo shook his head with a smile. You're surprisingly polite. Thank you. Many people have said that. Huh. The next morning, Leo woke up early. Although he had only slept for 4 hours, thanks to the body boost serum, he felt no fatigue at all, his energy levels as high as ever. Huh. The faint sound of Eleanor's breathing came from the phone on his pillow. It seemed the young heiress was still asleep. Leo picked up the warm phone and glanced at the screen. He had been on a call with her for 280 minutes? Wow. If he didn't hang up, she really wouldn't either. Figuring she deserved a good night's sleep for once, Leo didn't end the call or try to wake her. He placed the phone back where it was and went to the bathroom to get ready. After washing up, he opened his laptop, planned out his day, and played a couple of satisfying rounds of a game. It wasn't until around 11 that the sound of breathing from the phone stopped, replaced by a long, contented yawn. Oh no, it's 11 o'clock. The next second, Eleanor's panicked voice came through the phone, followed by the frantic sounds of her grabbing it. Leo, are you still there? I'm so sorry. I slept like a log last night. Leo had arranged to meet her at 8, but seeing how soundly she was sleeping, he hadn't had the heart to wake her. Just woke up, Leo said, faking a yawn and smoothly closing his game. It's fine. I only just woke up myself. Go get ready. We'll meet at Waterfront Park in a bit. Okay, I'm going now. Eleanor breathed a sigh of relief. A series of rustling sounds followed as she got dressed and out of bed, punctuated by the soft slapping of bare feet on smooth tile floors. The sound continued for a while, making Leo wonder just how massive her bedroom was. By the way, remember not to dress up too much. Just wear something casual, Leo reminded her. We're just hanging out, not going to some fancy party. Okay, I know. All right, get to it. Leo finally hung up with a sense of relief and sent her text. See you at the park. Around noon, Leo drove his BMW M8 to the parking garage near Waterfront Park. After parking, he took the elevator up to the bustling square. As Portland's most famous tourist spot, Waterfront Park was always teeming with people, regardless of the day of the week or the season. I don't get what's so great about this sign, Leo muttered. Like most locals, he wasn't particularly fond of his hometown's famous landmarks. When you live close by and see them every day, the novelty wears off. Of course, if an out-of-towner started dissing the city's attractions online, Leo would be the first to jump in with a detailed explanation of their historical significance. Just then, a voice message from Eleanor came in. Leo, I'm at the crosswalk. Where are you? Offline mode. Don't come into the park, it's too crowded. Just wait there, I'll come find you. Island Snow, okay. The foot traffic on the street by Waterfront Park was immense. Finding one person in the shoulder-to-shoulder crowd would be difficult. Luckily, the rich have a way of standing out. Leo scanned the curb, and his eyes quickly locked onto a distinctive black sedan. The imposing car was parked quietly by the side of the road, and nearly every passerby shot an admiring glance. Many even took out their phones to snap pictures. A Rolls-Royce Phantom, worth millions, tended to have that effect. Next to the Phantom stood a man in a sharp suit and sunglasses, built like a linebacker, his gaze sweeping sternly and vigilantly over the surrounding crowd. In the front passenger seat, a graceful young woman was pressed against the window, her eyes searching the throngs of people with a mix of curiosity and anxiety. The girl wore a mask that obscured most of her face, but her eyes alone, elegant, almond-shaped, and full of life, were enough to suggest that she was stunningly beautiful, the kind of beauty that could launch 1,000 ships. Yo, Leo called out as he approached, nodding toward Eleanor in the passenger seat. Didn't I tell you to be low-key? Don't tell me this is the most low-key car you own. Leo, a visible wave of joy washed over Eleanor's eyes. She eagerly opened the car door and ran toward him with quick, happy steps, like a fan meeting their idol. Leo was taken aback by her sudden, intense enthusiasm. Eleanor's outfit today was indeed very simple, just a white, cinched-waist dress. Her jet black hair fell like a waterfall over her shoulders, brushing against her fair skin, as smooth as silk. But most of her face was sealed away behind the black mask. Dressed like this, she could have easily blended into the crowd like any other girl. The only thing that set her apart was the unmistakable aura of wealth and privilege that she couldn't hide. Just standing there, her cool, languid eyes gave off an indelible sense of nobility. Money really could change a person's entire bearing, especially for someone who had been born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Eleanor was tall and slender, the skin on her neck as white as snow. From head to toe, she radiated an indescribable aloofness that kept people at a distance. Hold on a moment. The bodyguard instinctively moved to step between them, glaring at Leo. Miss, is this your friend? Yes, that's right, Eleanor replied excitedly, and the bodyguard's expression immediately softened. Mr. Shepard, hello. May I ask where you plan on taking our young lady? It would be best if you gave me an itinerary, so I can report back to the chairman. We're going to L.A. to hang out, Leo said truthfully. L.A.? And what specifically will you be doing? When will you be back? Where should I pick her up? And what is your occupation? Jesus, is this an interrogation? Are you coming or not? Leo shot an annoyed look at Eleanor. Eleanor immediately remembered what he'd said about not wanting to be conspicuous and gave her subordinate a firm order. That's enough. You could drive back now. I'll call you when I'm done. And don't follow us. But miss, the chairman said I must. No buts. Just go. Eleanor's voice turned a little cold. She had an excellent temperament and was almost never angry. But on this small, crucial point, she was uncharacteristically impatient. Very well. Please message me when you're finished. The bodyguard complied, casting a few more glances back as he returned to the Rolls-Royce and drove away slowly. So that's a Phantom, Leo said, watching the car's sleek black tail lights disappear with interest. Have to admit, it's pretty damn cool. How much does one of those cost? Eleanor was busy looking Leo up and down, the boy who had been on her mind constantly. I don't know. I never concern myself with such things. Then her interest was piqued. Do you want one? I can call the driver back and have him transfer the title to you. Can we please have a normal conversation without offering to give me things? Leo said, half laughing, half exasperated. Besides, I'm not a fan of used cars. Eleanor thought for a moment, then held up one slender finger. Then I'll buy you a new one later. How about that? Yes. You. Leo's resolve wavered. She was always testing him like this. How was he supposed to resist? What's wrong? Eleanor blinked her clear eyes, staring at him with innocent curiosity. Leo shot her an exasperated look and then, for no reason at all, burst out laughing. Haha, forget it. Come on, let's go to the parking garage. Okay. Once they were in the BMW M8, Leo glanced at Eleanor, who was still wearing her black mask. Are you planning on wearing that the whole time? My bodyguard said it's best to wear it to avoid unnecessary trouble, she answered first, then asked, Do you want me to take it off? It's up to you, Leo said, starting the car. But don't you think talking face-to-face feels more like we're friends? That's true. Without a moment's hesitation, Eleanor reached up and pulled off her mask, revealing a face so exquisitely carved it looked like it was made of jade. Leo only glanced over for a second, but he was involuntarily stunned by her heaven-defying beauty, his heart skipping a beat. Her skin was flawless, her face a perfect oval shape. Beneath a high, straight nose, her lips were turned up in a subtle, pleased smile, suggesting she was in a good mood. It was no exaggeration to say that Eleanor's beauty surpassed that of every other girl Leo knew. If Chloe and Lily were a 9.7 in the system's ratings, then Eleanor had to be at least a 9. 9. What is it? Eleanor asked, noticing his stunned expression and looking out the window curiously. You're very beautiful, Leo said, nodding his approval before pulling the car out of the parking spot. I know, Eleanor replied matter-of-factly. Many people have told me that. Leo was speechless. The drive to L.A. was long, and Leo passed the time explaining the next steps of his new venture to Eleanor. So, you're going to L.A. to find actors? You're going to direct a movie? You can put it that way, Leo said, but I don't have any connections. I'll just have to try my luck finding some non-Union Day players. He saw the confusion on her face and clarified, the kind of actors you pay a couple $100 a day cash. I see. Eleanor thought for a moment, then offered with a hopeful look, My father knows a few directors. I could ask him to help you find some good actors. Oh, really? Leo asked, testing the waters. Would that be too much trouble for your dad? Not all. I'll call him right now. Eleanor pulled out her sleek silver phone and dialed the number of Harrison Hayes, the wealthiest man in Portland. Whoa, hey, you're calling him now? Maybe we should wait. The thought of having this girl, whom he'd just met, call her billionaire father for a favor made Leo's palms sweat. It was awkward as hell. It's fine. You're my friend. This is something I should do for you. She gave him a small smile as the call connected. A slightly gravelly man's voice came through the speaker, seemingly amplified on purpose. Hello, Eleanor. How are you in this? Leo Shepherd fellow, getting along. Leo immediately recognized the tactic. Harrison Hayes was deliberately using his name, a clear warning shot. His precious daughter was being driven to L.A. in broad daylight by some guy she just met, with no security detail. Any normal parent would be worried, let alone a man of Harrison's stature. We're on the road. We'll be there in 34 minutes, Eleanor said, glancing at the GPS before getting straight to the point. Dad, Leo is making a short-form series, and I remember you have some director friends. Could you ask them to help him find a few good actors? A heavy silence fell on the other end of the line. Leo cringed so hard his toes curled inside his shoes. He'd only mentioned it in passing, and she just brazenly asked her father for a massive favor. A shrewd businessman like Harrison Hayes, who had clawed his way to the top, would definitely assume Leo was just using his daughter for her connections. Of course, Harrison's voice returned, sounding surprisingly relaxed. Arthur Shaw is actually filming in L.A. right now. Go find him when you get there. I'll give him a heads up. They chatted for a few more moments before hanging up. Good Lord, could you maybe not be so direct next time? Leo said with a wry smile. I just met you, and you're already having your dad pull strings for me. He's going to think I have ulterior motives for hanging out with you. Eleanor considered this. Will he? Leo decided not to explain further. She probably didn't care about the complex web of social favors and obligations. Why waste his breath? Back in Portland, traffic came to a halt at a red light on a main drag. Leo took advantage of the brief pause to look at the living, breathing enigma in his passenger seat. The daughter of Portland's wealthiest man, the untouchable heiress who frequently appeared in financial news, the one the paparazzi didn't even dare to invent rumors about, was sitting in his passenger seat. Even more surreal, she had just called her billionaire father on his private line to help Leo find actors for his tiny project. The whole thing felt jarring, like a glitch in reality. Is there something on my face? Eleanor asked, her expression as placid as ever as she met his gaze. But if you looked closely, you could see a flicker of excitement, of joy in her eyes. Her posture was perfect, her back straight against the seat, her hands resting primly on the hem of her dress. She exuded a ladylike grace, a habit cultivated over a lifetime. To Leo, though, it looked almost pathologically rigid. No, it's just, you don't feel real sometimes. The light turned green, and Leo hit the gas. By the way, what did your parents say about you going out today? If the security guards knew she was with him, her parents definitely knew. Otherwise, Harrison wouldn't have known his name. Leo was willing to bet his entire life story had already been thoroughly vetted by them. They were very happy, Eleanor said, tucking a strand of dark hair behind her ear. Her tone softened into a faint smile. Since I came back to the States, I haven't once expressed a desire to go out. She paused, and I'm very happy to be out with you. I feel like my mood has improved just by being around you. Staying cooped up at home will mess with your head, Leo said with a smile. It's a sickness of the heart. Get out more, and you'll get better. Can I come find you again then? She asked hopefully. Like today. Of course. Anytime I'm free, you can call me. This girl had helped him so much already. He couldn't just take her money and connections without offering something in return. Okay, thank you. Eleanor's smile was radiant, as bright as a star, possessing both a sweet charm and a disarming sincerity. There you go. See how much better you look when you smile. Leo's own mood lifted. Don't always wear such a stern face. People will think you're cold. So, is this Arthur Shaw your father mentioned? I don't know. He said someone would meet us in L.A. We'll find out when we get there. Okay. They arrived in L.A., the sprawling heart of the American film industry. This seemingly ordinary place was a crucible of dreams and determination, the cradle where countless actors and directors chased their ambitions. The studio lots were filled with hyper-realistic sets, from ancient cityscapes to fantastical landscapes, serving not only as filming locations, but also as tourist destinations. Just then, a lean man in a baseball cap walked briskly toward them. Leo squinted, studying the man's features. His jaw dropped, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Was he really about to ask a titan of the industry to help him cast a low-budget adaptation of his web novel? This had to be a joke. Miss Hayes, a pleasure. Your father just called me. Arthur Shaw's posture was slightly stooped, but his greeting was warm and amiable. He looked at Eleanor with a probing curiosity. I hear you're interested in making a film? Shaw had met Harrison Hayes a few times while shooting in Portland and had seen his daughter on occasion. Though they had no real connection, politeness and enthusiasm were mandatory. Eleanor smiled courteously. Mr. Shaw, it's not for me. It's for my friend, Leo. A pleasure to meet you. Shaw's face was a mask of professional warmth as he gave Leo a brief, non-committal handshake. His mind raced, trying to place the name. He was certain he'd never heard of anyone named Leo Shepard in the industry. He gave Leo a quick once-over. Definitely hadn't seen him before. Probably some tech bros kid with a dream of making movies, out for a bit of fun. Shaw himself had started out making indie films. Before that, he'd worked as a mover. He was a master of navigating social niceties, and this introduction came directly from Harrison Hayes himself. In a circle of this caliber, you didn't turn down a recommendation from a titan. Even if the young man had no real talent and could offer Shaw no practical help in the future, it was still a small favor banked with Harrison Hayes. Noticing a sheen of sweat on Eleanor's brow, Shaw said quickly, "Let's talk in my office. It's too hot out here." Once they were settled in his on-set office, Leo quickly and concisely explained his profession and his project. So you're a big-shot author, Shaw said politely. He couldn't help but wonder how a web fiction writer, someone from a completely different universe, had managed to connect with a figure like Eleanor Hayes. But that wasn't his business. After analyzing Leo's request, he said, thoughtfully, I've done book-to-film adaptations before, but never one of these. Web novels the younger generation reads. I'm not particularly familiar with your field. However, he continued, I recently met a fellow who's an expert in this area. He's actually shooting on a lot today. How about I introduce you to? Yes, absolutely. That would be fantastic, Mr. Shaw, Leo said, thanking him profusely. He was here to start a small, scrappy operation. He couldn't possibly ask a director of Shaw's stature to personally help him cast actors. Besides, the actors Shaw worked with were all A-listers worth millions. They could make hundreds of thousands from a single sponsored live stream. Why would they ever agree to be in a short-form adaptation of his little web novel? Even if they were willing, what about their fees? They commanded salaries in the hundreds of thousands, even millions. If Leo had that kind of money, he wouldn't be making short-form content to begin with. He certainly couldn't ask them to work for free. Shaw made a call. The person on the other end answered instantly. His tone was so obsequious and eager that both Leo and Eleanor could hear it clearly. Hello, Mr. Shaw. What can I do for you? I'm just on the next lot over. It's like this, Shaw said, explaining Leo's situation. His tone was a bit distant, but his words were smooth. The man on the other end agreed immediately, saying he'd be right over to meet Leo. This is what you call a seasoned pro, Leo thought. Soon, a man in a sun hat strode into the office, his booming compliments preceding him from several feet away. Arthur, so good to see you. Shaw shook his hand, exchanged a few pleasantries, and introduced Leo. Derek, this is Leo. He's also looking to get into adapting novels to short-form video. You're the veteran in this space, so I thought you two should talk. Don't say that, Derek Flynn said, waving his hands in a gesture of exaggerated modesty. I'm just a guy who got lucky, bought the rights to a few good novels, and caught the first wave of new media. Haha, you're too modest, Derek, Shaw said. He then addressed the group. Well, I'll let you three chat. I have to get back to my set. Need to keep things in line. Right. Thanks again, Mr. Shaw, Leo said gratefully. Leo, my friend, have a seat. After Shaw left, Derek Flynn's enthusiasm became a raging fire. He managed to get Shaw's contact information at a party a while back by practically begging for it. He never thought a new media guy like him would ever have a real interaction with a living legend. And now, just a few days later, Shaw was personally asking him for a favor. Even if the guy was a complete unknown, Flynn wasn't about to be dismissive. What if he was some big shot who just preferred to stay out of the limelight? As for the coolly beautiful Eleanor beside him, Flynn, who didn't follow financial news, didn't recognize her. He just thought she was stunningly pretty. So, Leo explained his idea all over again to Derek Flynn. Flynn was the real deal, a legitimate new media director. He had a solid track record, having adapted several popular web novels that had gone viral. He was a well-known name in the short-form content world. Okay, I get it, Flynn said after listening intently. He offered some serious advice. Leo, this is your first time doing this. If you're in it for the long haul, my suggestion is to go through an influencer agency and hire a few moderately popular female streamers. You know that viral game promo with the gorgeous streamer from a while back? I know the developer. He hired a bunch of female content creators with decent followings. It's cheap. You can pull some traffic from their fan bases, and after you finish your first series, your own channel will have a subscriber base. When you go to adapt your second book, you'll have a much bigger initial audience. Ah, so that's how it works, Leo said, feigning a troubled smile. But I don't know any of those agency owners, and I have no idea what their rates are. No problem. I've got contacts for several agency heads, Flynn said breezily. As long as you've got the money, forget just getting them to act in your series. You can even get them to... Flynn, caught up in a moment, glanced at the innocent-looking Eleanor beside them and stopped himself just in time, giving an awkward laugh. Anyway, with enough cash, you can find any kind of talent you want. They're cheap, beautiful, and their acting is decent enough. Just a little more expensive than your average day player. Right, I get it. Leo smiled knowingly, deciding not to call him out. It seemed this industry was a minefield of potential scandals. They talked for another 2 hours. By the end, they had enthusiastically exchanged contact information, and Flynn had recommended several agency heads to Leo. Before getting into directing, Flynn had also been a web fiction author. While none of his works had become massive hits, he was considered a solid upper-tier writer. He had astutely sniffed out the market for serialized short-form video adaptations and decisively switched careers. The first few viral series of that kind on TikTok were Flynn's work. His official channel had over 2 million followers. Calling him Leo Sr. was no exaggeration. All right, Leo, if you need anything else, just give me a call, Flynn said, standing up and shaking Leo's hand warmly. When your first series comes out, I'll definitely be there to support it. In a way, helping Leo was like nurturing a competitor. But for some reason, Flynn found talking with him incredibly easy. The young man always managed to steer the conversation toward topics Flynn was passionate about, and his manner of speaking was refreshingly comfortable. The new media industry wasn't easy to break into. Flynn figured that even with all his help, Leo might not succeed. He might even have to console him after he lost all his money. Thank you. Thank you so much for your guidance today, Derek, Leo said sincerely. The painstaking process of networking and finding actors, which he had expected to be a huge headache, was effortlessly resolved with the help of Arthur Shaw and Derek Flynn. Flynn had even given him a crash course on the unwritten rules and pitfalls of the production world that Leo knew nothing about. All that was left was to hire the talent, rent a location, buy the equipment, and start shooting. Of course, the real MVP was Eleanor. Without her, Leo would probably still be sifting through headshots of extras right now. At that moment, Leo's greatest benefactor was completely oblivious, slumped over the adjacent table in a deep, peaceful sleep. Her hair, damp with a light sweat, swayed gently in the cool, air-conditioned breeze. Her soft, pink lips were slightly parted, emitting faint, almost imperceptible breaths. Leo and Flynn had been so engrossed in their conversation that Eleanor, listening from the side, had simply drifted off. Flynn lowered his voice, glancing at Eleanor, who was resting her head on her arms. "Is that your girlfriend, Leo? She's gorgeous." Leo just smiled without answering. After a few more pleasantries, Flynn left. Leo sat down next to Eleanor, propping his chin on his hand and watching her sleep. Then he activated his ability. God's Eye. Name, Eleanor Hayes. Gender, female. Age, 23. Appearance, 9'8". Height, 5'8". Weight, 117 lbs. Interests, watching educational films, masochism, submissive tendencies, NTR enthusiast, enjoys experiencing completely new things. Measurements, 32-24-33. Affinity toward host, 40. Social status, single. Current physical condition, mild anxiety, nervous exhaustion, moderate loneliness disorder, insomnia, anemia, poor appetite. Current mood, content, gradually feeling a sense of hope and anticipation for life. Current location, LA Film Studio Lot. Intimate encounters, 0. Solo sessions, 32. Holy crap, she's stacking debuffs like it's a raid boss, Leo thought, stunned by her list of interests. Even the guys on the weirdest subreddits aren't this hardcore. Rich people get nervous exhaustion, insomnia, and poor appetite. He shook his head, a swirl of thoughts in his mind. Maybe these were the problems of the wealthy. Her frail physical condition made the average college student look like a tank. As for the solo sessions, Leo was already used to seeing that. It was perfectly normal. In fact, for someone with such unique tastes, 32 times was practically monastic self-control, gradually feeling a sense of hope and anticipation for life. Leo silently repeated the line, abandoning the idea of waking her. He sat quietly beside her and started scrolling through a novel on his phone. In some ways, Eleanor's life was probably less free than that of the sweet, simple girl across the hall from him, Lily Reed. It wasn't until after 7 in the evening, when the extras were all clocking out, that Eleanor groggily opened her eyes. She stared at Leo, her eyes still clouded with sleep, and it took a long moment for her to orient herself. "Are you done talking?" "All done." Leo looked at the red marks on her pale cheek where she'd been resting on her arm and chuckled. "It's pretty impressive you can sleep like that for a whole afternoon." "I don't know why, but I feel like I sleep so well when you're nearby," Eleanor said, stretching languidly, her supple body arching gracefully. "These last 2 days have probably been the most restful I've had since I came back to the States." "Are you hungry?" Leo stood up. "You helped me out big time today. Let me treat you to dinner. Pick any place you want." "Okay," she agreed, a note of anticipation in her voice. She pushed herself up from the table, but as she took a few steps, a wave of dizziness washed over her. She swayed backward, but Leo was quick enough to catch her. "You shouldn't move so fast with your anemia," he said, then asked with concern, "How are you feeling? Should I call your security?" Staring at the face of the boy she had been thinking about constantly, a torrent of long-suppressed emotions churned within her. Spurred on by this nameless feeling, Eleanor grabbed Leo's arm and, on impulse, leaned in to kiss him. Startled by her sudden move, and with the image of her terrifyingly powerful father flashing his mind, Leo reacted without thinking. He let go of her, interrupting her advance. As a result, Eleanor, caught off guard, stumbled and fell heavily to the ground, scraping the skin on her pale arm. "Shit, I'm sorry. Are you okay?" Leo was horrified. He scrambled to his knees and quickly helped the fragile heiress to her feet. The moment he had her steady, he was shocked to see a strange, almost demonic smile playing on her lips. Her eyes held no anger, no surprise, only a look of feverish anticipation and excitement. Her breathing grew heavy and ragged. I'm fine. He had been wondering why she would react like that. But then he remembered her list of interests, and everything clicked into place. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, Leo thought with a jolt of alarm. Yes, I'm back in the country. I won't be going abroad again for the foreseeable future. Thank you, Professor. Have a good day. Inside the BMW, Eleanor was speaking fluent, unaccented English with a professor overseas. Leo, sitting beside her, was a little stunned. He found it hard to reconcile the quiet, scholarly, and beautiful young woman before him with a pervert whose M-side had just flared up a moment ago. Maybe this was what people meant by contrast. Eleanor hung up and looked at Leo. Where are we going to eat? You pick. Leo opened a food app on his phone and handed it to her, making casual conversation. Your English is really good. How long did you study abroad? About 7 years. You don't speak it. Eleanor held the phone, tilting her head. I thought you said you just graduated from college. You should know English, right? Of course I do, Leo said dismissively. It's easy. Hello, goodbye. Thank you, you're welcome. He rattled off the phrases with a comically bad accent. Eleanor blinked, her expression one of pure, adorable confusion at his strange pronunciation. Ahem. So, have you found a place to eat yet? Leo's face flushed, and he quickly changed the subject, trying to cover up his less-than-high school-level English proficiency. If she hadn't been a girl, he would have hit her with some top-tier gamer trash talk to really show off his linguistic skills. Eleanor listlessly scrolled through the app, past all the well-known, highly rated restaurants. For some reason, none of them caught her interest. Just then, her attention was captured by a barbecue food truck parked on the side of the road. The sharp, greasy aroma reminded her of her childhood, a smell that had once made her mouth water. Her parents, who had always been incredibly strict about her diet, had absolutely forbidden her from eating such low-quality junk food. A wave of nostalgia hit her. Pointing decisively at the food truck across the street, she said excitedly, Leo, I want to eat that. A barbecue truck? You really know how to pick 'em. Leo chuckled, expertly turning the wheel. So it was true. Rich girls really were drawn to this kind of junk food. Warum kommt's Hartentlied? He parked by the curb. Eleanor, as excited as a little girl, practically sprinted to the smoky, fragrant truck. She scanned the ingredients in the cooler with a mixture of novelty and thrill, looking like a princess on a secret excursion who had just discovered candied apple for the first time. Leo, I want this, she exclaimed, pointing at a splayed-out bloody frog. Whoa, starting with the hard stuff, are we? Leo teased. He grabbed a basket, picked up 2 frog legs, and handed it to her. Get whatever you want. Okay. Eleanor tucked her hair behind her ear and, with the patient curiosity of a debutante, began selecting items from the cooler. Within minutes, her small basket was overflowing entirely with meat. Not a single vegetable in sight. Anyone watching would have thought she was starved for protein back home. After they ordered, they sat down at a small table on the sidewalk. It was Eleanor's first time eating on the street, and she was practically vibrating with excitement, looking around at everything and occasionally bouncing her leg. Leo placed his car keys, phone, and a pack of Reds on the table. You ordered so much. What are you going to do if you can't finish it all? We can get it to go, she retorted proudly. Oh, so you know about doggy bags? Leo was surprised. I figured you rich girls just order a feast, take 2 bites, and leave. Please, I'm rich, not stupid, Eleanor corrected him, a little indignantly. Besides, not wasting food is everyone's responsibility. Haven't you heard of the importance of conservation? Impressive, impressive. I didn't know you knew about that stuff, Leo nodded, genuinely impressed. Much better than those exchange students who think everything from overseas is better. I've never been one to worship foreign things. Since getting out of the car, Eleanor had been buzzing with an infectious energy, like a completely different person. She reached over and picked up the pack of cigarettes, turning it over and over in her hands. I'm curious. Why do you guys smoke? She asked. Is it to look cool in front of other people? I smoke when I'm home alone, too, Leo said with a smile. Am I trying to look cool for the ghosts? Good point. Eleanor nodded. She opened the pack, pulled one out, and sniffed it before placing it between her lips, playing with it like a new toy. Don't be an idiot, Leo said, snatching the cigarette and lighter from her just as she was about to light it. He shuddered. If your old man found out I took you out and let you start smoking, he'd skin me alive. Eleanor nodded thoughtfully. Yes, you're right. My father would probably do something like that. Leo was speechless. Hey folks, just getting off work. The owner, pleased to see a couple in such a nice car patronizing his stand and ordering a mountain of meat, came over to chat after getting their food on the grill. He warmly offered Leo a cigarette. "What about me?" Eleanor called out to the owner as he was turning to leave. "I'm a customer, too. Don't I get one?" "Oh, of course, of course." The owner chuckled. It wasn't unusual for women to smoke these days. He quickly handed one to Eleanor. Eleanor took it with a silly grin, looking validated. She played with it for a moment before generously offering it to Leo. "Here, you can have it. I don't know how to smoke anyway. You're a special kind of innocent, aren't you?" Leo laughed, charmed by this sweet, clueless heiress. What small town had let this adorable dummy wander out on her own? They chatted for a few more minutes until the first skewers of grilled shrimp were ready. Eleanor, who had never eaten anything with a shell before, looked helplessly from the shrimp to Leo, who was already peeling one. She put on a pair of disposable gloves and tried to mimic him, but after several failed attempts that mangled the shrimp meat and got her finger pricked by the shell, she gave up. "You're hopeless," Leo teased mercilessly. He held out a perfectly peeled shrimp. "Here you go, little heiress." Eleanor's eyes lit up. She opened her full, pink lips and took a bite of the shrimp tail he offered. "So, is it any good?" "What the hell are you?" Leo's entire body went rigid as he felt a nimble tongue start licking and swirling around his fingertips. "What the hell are you doing?" Feeling his fingertip being enveloped by her soft, wet tongue, Leo yanked his hand back with a sharp pop, a thin, glistening thread of saliva connecting them for a brief moment. "Can you please be normal? What if someone sees?" His heart hammered against his ribs as he ripped off the disposable glove, nervously scanning their surroundings. Thankfully, no one seemed to have noticed. The only other customer nearby was a guy bouncing his leg while scrolling through TikTok, the sound blaring from his phone. "All right, guys, watch this. This dude's name is Chad, and he's surrounded by like 100 noobs." "Huh." Eleanor exhaled heavily, a look of ecstatic pleasure on her delicate face. Her eyes were glazed over with a hazy bliss. The only thing missing was her flashing a peace sign. "It's strange, Leo," she said, her breathing noticeably heavier. "While I bite my own finger, I don't feel anything like this. But biting yours, it feels special. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Can we please talk about something normal?" Leo shook his head, playing dumb, though he desperately wanted to understand why she was doing this. I want to try again." Eleanor slid her stool closer to him, grabbing his wrist with one hand and placing his other hand on her thigh. "I'll let you touch my leg. You said you like touching legs, right? Oh my God, I'm begging you." Leo was on the verge of tears, struggling silently. It was the first time he had ever been so utterly powerless with a woman. "Can we just eat? You can't do this kind of thing out here." "Then let's find somewhere private," she said bluntly, completely unabashed. The TikTok guy and the barbecue truck owner both shot them looks of pure, unadulterated shock. "Just eat your shrimp, you perv. Is your brain full of nothing but filth?" Leo's face was beet red. He quickly peeled another shrimp and stuffed it into her mouth. The rest of the meal was an exercise in pure anxiety for Leo. Having a girl next to him who was ready and willing to cross any and all boundaries at a moment's notice was, in its own way, a special kind of torture. After paying the bill, Eleanor insisted they check out the night market up the street. The market was near another university, and since it was the weekend, the street was packed with people and ringing with the calls of vendors. Eleanor was positively giddy, craning her neck to look at every single stall they passed. "Leo, they must be so rich to have so many antiques for sale. Hey, my dad has a vase just like that one. Does that mean this is a fake? Whatever you do, don't touch it. It might be from last week, but if you break it, they'll tell you it's from the Ming Dynasty." "EW, Leo, that's so gross. Is that guy cooking poop in his pot?" "Jesus, don't say that. It's just some kind of fermented noodles. Smells bad, tastes good." "Sorry about that, man. She's just kidding." "Leo, is this a brothel? I saw shops with names like this overseas. They have blue transactions inside. It's a fried chicken place called the Cluckin' Spot. It's just their name, though. It is a little on the nose." Leo, I want to see this. A snake with a human head, and a girl in a bottle. Well, let's go. I've got to see what this is all about." The night market was long, and Eleanor stopped at nearly every stall. It took them over 2 hours to emerge from the other end, their hands full of bags. She had bought a pile of weird trinkets and gadgets. Anyone would have thought she was a wholesaler stocking up on inventory. The whole time, she was visibly ecstatic, her voice bubbling with a joy that was a world away from her usual cool demeanor. "Leo." In the underground parking garage, Eleanor stopped. Her cool, almond-shaped eyes were shining with joy and determination, and a faint smile graced her delicate features. "I had a really good time today. I want to kiss you. Glad you had fun. I'll take you out more often. Wait, what? Leo did a double take. You had fun, great. Why does that mean you get to kiss me? I don't know, she said firmly. I just want to. Leo started to argue, but then he thought about Eleanor's unique worldview and her already high affinity score. He decided to just be straight with her. Eleanor, I have to tell you something. He laid it all out, every last messy detail of his complicated life. Eleanor listened quietly. After analyzing the information for a moment, she gave her honest assessment. Leo, that's a little unethical. What you're doing isn't right. And what's your plan for the future? Are you going to have to emigrate? Yeah, well, now you know. I'm not exactly a great guy, Leo said with a self-deprecating laugh. So it's probably best if we don't get too close. We could be friends, hang out, but you shouldn't get too invested. It's better for both of us. Do you love them? Will you be responsible for those other girls? Eleanor asked, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. Of course, Leo answered without hesitation. There's one I didn't like at first. It was pure physical attraction. But after spending time with her, I realized how gentle and considerate she is, and I slowly started to fall for her. I guess you could call it growing into love. See? I'm a total scumbag. As long as you're responsible for them. You're not a scumbag, Eleanor concluded, but it's still a little unethical. You have to do it secretly because you know it can't be brought into the light, right? So no matter how you slice it, I'm still the bad guy, huh? Leo chuckled, not bothering to explain further. He was beginning to realize that while Eleanor seemed clueless, she was actually quite sharp. It was why he'd been willing to talk to her on that social app in the first place. Her personality was refreshingly direct. She could take a complex situation, strip away all the societal baggage, and give an answer based on her own understanding. She was like an AI with a soul, a saint in a confessional. No matter what he told her, she could offer a rational perspective. All right, let's go before your dad sends a search party for me, Leo said, picking up the bags and walking past the motionless Eleanor toward his BMW mate. Tap, tap, tap. Eleanor hurried after him, tilting her pale, slender neck up at him. You still haven't said if you agree. Go on, get out of here. No kisses for you, Leo said, scowling playfully. He opened the trunk and started loading in the trinkets Eleanor had bought, lecturing her patiently. You're a girl. You need to have some self-respect when you're out. I know I'm handsome, but you can't be this direct. He slammed the trunk shut and turned around, only to be met by Eleanor's cool, soft lips pressing against his. What the you? Leo was caught completely off guard. He put his hands on her shoulders, about to say something, but she spoke first. Leo, I feel like I'm always happy when I'm with you. You're not that handsome, but just hearing your voice is enough to make me feel content. The words were a confession, but her delivery was strangely calm, tinged only with a slight confusion, as if she were confronting an unknown emotion. I think I might be falling for you. What do you mean, not that handsome? Watch your mouth. Leo corrected her sternly, then sighed in resignation. I already told you, I have girlfriends. I'm a player. Why are you being so stubborn? It's okay. I don't mind. In fact, as she spoke, she let out a strange little laugh. The expression on her face wasn't one of lovelorn acceptance, but of crazed excitement. Wait a minute, Leo said, a dawning suspicion in his voice. Does the idea of me having girlfriends, of me being intimate with them, get you excited? That's right. Eleanor nodded without hesitation. If you did it in front of me, I'd be even more. Okay, that's enough. A young couple walking by shot them a curious look. Leo quickly clamped a hand over Eleanor's mouth, terrified of what other depraved thing she might say. This was just bizarre. Most people with an NTR fetish kept it to themselves. This girl seemed determined to broadcast her unique sexual preferences to the world. You'd better think this through, Leo warned her mercilessly. A girl as beautiful as you confessing to a guy like me. I don't really have a reason to say no. He continued, but let's be clear. If we were to, do something one day, I'm the kind of guy who might just pull up his pants, kick you out of bed, and never speak to you again. Oh, really? Eleanor's voice suddenly became breathless, her breathing quickening again. Crap, I forgot you're into BDSM too, Leo muttered, running a hand through his hair in frustration. He was completely at a loss, rendered speechless by this impossible woman. All right, let's go, he said, gently pushing her away by the head and sliding into the driver's seat, his mind a chaotic mess. So do you agree? Eleanor asked eagerly from the passenger seat. Look, I'm never going to marry you, okay? Leo warned her seriously. Do you really want to spend your life with someone like me? Don't you want to get married and have kids? Will you be as good to me as you are to the other girls? Like today, she asked coolly. How was I good to you today? You did me a huge favor, and all I did was buy you some barbecue, Leo said, starting the car. If that counts as being good to you, then what's the big deal? Then that's enough. Eleanor said with a gentle smile. She looked out the window at the passing scenery, her voice a quiet murmur. Besides, what's so great about marriage? Is it just to give birth to and raise a social misfit like me, in their quest to mold their daughter into a one-in-a-million paragon of excellence? Eleanor's parents had meticulously curated her world, shielding her from anything they deemed unnecessary. If, in the past, Eleanor had gone to a night market with a boy she'd known for only a few days, her father would have thundered, "Eleanor, where is your upbringing? Where is your feminine modesty? What have I taught you all these years?" Eleanor had always been an obedient daughter, but that very obedience, under the weight of her parents' almost pathological educational methods, had gradually shaped her into the unique, unconventional person she was today. She liked it when people took things from her, enjoying the unique thrill of loss, because she had grown up having everything handed to her. She enjoyed the pain of physical injury, because the bodyguards her parents hired would never let her get hurt. It was a classic case of overkill. Her parents had wanted her to become the person they imagined, but their suffocating love had turned her into a stranger in a strange world. Eleanor knew her worldview was wildly different from a normal person's. She was the kind of person who could get lost if you left her on a street corner unattended. Perhaps it was a blessing in disguise. Since her mental health had declined, her parents no longer dared to control her as they once had, which paradoxically had given her more freedom. So, Eleanor loved her life right now, being able to follow Leo and experience new things she had never dared to dream of before. As for marriage and children, she neither wanted nor dared to hope for them. She was afraid that, with her skewed understanding of the world, she would only raise another misfit. Leo glanced at Eleanor's slender, lonely-looking back from the corner of his eye. He was about to say something comforting when the system prompt appeared. 1. Sternly lecture her. Your parents' methods may have been wrong, but they were thinking of your future. You can't blame them for everything. Just focus on enjoying the life ahead of you. 3. Slap her, activate her kink, and give a harsh command. Stop your whining. Tomorrow, you're bringing over all your toys, and I'm going to educate you in a way your parents never could. Don't overthink it. Your life is pretty good right now, isn't it? Your parents don't dare to control you anymore. You can do whatever you want, Leo said, steering with one hand and taking Eleanor's cool, delicate hand with the other. You have to live in the moment. Just focus on enjoying the life ahead of you. I'm going to be busy for the next few days, so if you get bored, you can tag along. Every day. Until I'm done with this project, every day. Okay. Thank you, Leo. Eleanor's mood brightened considerably. Her face lit with an ecstatic, hopeful smile. She clutched his hand like a precious treasure, lifted it to her face, and began gently tapping her cheek with it, a look of excitement growing in her eyes. Leo wasn't applying any force, so the taps were light. Seeing this, Eleanor looked at him with an insatiable expression. Leo, could you maybe find a place to pull over and slap me? Leo, can you please act normal? I'm driving here, Leo said, snatching his hand back, his face burning. For a split second, he had actually considered fulfilling her request. No wonder people on the internet said there's a little devil inside everyone, ready to embrace some new, twisted hobby at any moment. It wasn't just talk. Here was a stunningly beautiful girl, begging you to punish her. What man could possibly refuse that? Even Leo, a self-proclaimed champion of pure love with perfectly normal tastes, had felt his resolve waver. So, do you want to hang out tomorrow morning? Leo asked, hastily changing the subject. I have to go to an agency to pick out some actors. Want to come? Miss Eleanor agreed, her eyes still fixed on his hand on the steering wheel, a look of longing in them. Ugh, Leo sighed deeply. He had a feeling he'd gotten himself involved with someone even more extreme than Lily Reed. After dropping Eleanor off at the designated spot for her security team, Leo drove home alone. He had just gotten out of the shower and was about to go to bed when a text from her came in. Island Snow, Leo, I'm curious. Where are we now? 1. Answer honestly. More than friends, less than lovers. 2. Be evasive. I don't know. We've only known each other for a few days. We're probably just friends, right? What do you think? 3. Verbally abuse her. You submissive little slut. You have the common sense of a kindergartner. Can't you sleep without begging for attention? You just love it when I degrade you, don't you? System, you've got to be kidding me, Leo muttered wearily. He knew, however, that if he actually sent that third option, this girl with her unique taste would definitely have her affinity go up. Hiss, should I try it? I mean, she's into this stuff. After a moment's thought, Leo reluctantly typed out the response from option 3 and hit send. It was just catering to her preferences, nothing weird about that. Ding. Eleanor Hayes' affinity toward host has increased by 3. Current affinity, 43. Please continue your efforts. Holy crap, it actually worked. Leo slapped his forehead, a mortified grin on his face. It seemed special tactics only worked on special girls. Just then, his phone buzzed with a voice call from her. Leo froze. Had she actually gotten angry? The words were pretty harsh, after all. But then what was with the affinity boost? He answered the call. The other end was silent, except for the sound of increasingly heavy breathing. Hello. Leo. No way. I thought you'd like that kind of talk. Are you mad? Leo asked tentatively, sensing a repressed quality in her voice. And no. Then why'd you call? I wanted to hear you say it to me. What are you doing? Hearing sounds that were definitely not safe for work coming through the phone. Leo's face turned crimson and he immediately hung up. He had to admit, he was completely out of his league here. This girl was on another level. Offline mode. Your health is already so poor. Could you please show some restraint? Are you still coming with me to the agency tomorrow or not? Sweating emoji. Leo sent a casually concerned text, then tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. A few moments later, a reply came. Island snow. Thank you. I'm better now. Offline mode. The next few days were a blur. Leo was so busy he practically lived at the studio space he rented in LA, hiring actors, securing locations, buying equipment. All of these tedious tasks would have had him running around like a headless chicken if it weren't for Eleanor and her god-tier connections. Chloe and Lily were both cramming for their midterms. For freshmen, these exams were crucial for everything from getting into grad school to landing a good job. Even Chloe, who usually chatted with him for hours after class, now only managed a few rushed minutes at night before reluctantly hitting the books. His landlady, Isabel, wasn't as busy, but knowing that Leo was focused on his new business, she didn't bother him much, only occasionally messaging to say she was there if he needed anything. As a result, Leo spent most of his time with the little heiress, Eleanor. Have you even sent a single message home lately? Are you trying to work yourself to death? In the underground parking garage of the talent agency, Leo was on a video call with his mom, Sharon. He had his own camera off, so she couldn't see the absolutely ridiculous situation unfolding on his end. Mom, I told you I'm shooting a video series. I can't get away. Well, how are things with that Chloe girl? Are you two still together? Yeah, we're still together. Ouch, what are you biting me for? What did you say? What are you up to over there? I'm driving. Do you need anything else? If not, I'm hanging up. I'm busy today. I wanted to ask, with the holidays coming up, are you planning on bringing Chloe home to meet your grandparents? They're all dying to meet her. We'll see. Gotta go. Leo hung up distractedly and looked at Eleanor with a helpless expression. He could feel the warmth and softness of her mouth around his finger, the occasional scrape of her teeth. Is this fun for you? Isn't it gross? MHM, she mumbled, her voice muffled. I give up. Leo pulled his finger out of her mouth with a soft pop. Could you please have some self-control, young lady? He had been trying to resist this sort of thing, but Eleanor's relentless persistence over the past few days, coupled with her taking advantage of his distraction while he was on the phone with his mother, had worn him down. His own resolve was slowly changing, being molded by her into something new. He started the car, a mixture of shame and irritation bubbling up inside him. Damn it, he cursed. I'm telling you right now, if I turn into a freak like you, it's all your damn fault. His attitude over the past few days had pleased Eleanor immensely, on top of the already high affinity she felt for him. She took his hand, a blissful, dazed smile on her face. A trace of saliva still at the corner of her lips. Don't worry, she said. I'll take responsibility for you. Haha, Leo, I passed. On a Friday afternoon, as Leo was driving home, an ecstatic video call came in from Chloe. My midterms. I got a B+ average. Aren't I amazing, you big dummy? Damn right. You are, Leo said with a nod of approval. A B+ wasn't exactly genius level, but it was a solid score. And when your girlfriend calls you this excited to share news, you praise her. That score was the result of her hard work. See? Hard work pays off. All that studying wasn't for nothing, Chloe said, gloating for a few more seconds before her tone turned hopeful. So how are you, dummy? Have you started shooting your series yet? Almost. Everything's ready to go, Leo told her. I'm just waiting for a couple of the actors to finish their current gigs, then we can start. Chloe's big eyes sparkled. So you're not busy tomorrow, right? It's Saturday. Come hang out with me. No problem. I'll come pick you up around noon. Yay. Okay, I'll let you drive. We can talk more when you get home. I'm gonna go ask my dad for a reward. Ha. They chatted for a few more moments before Chloe happily hung up. Was that the business major or the pre-med one? Eleanor, who had been silent beside him, asked curiously after Leo put his phone away. Leo had briefly told Eleanor about his two girlfriends. But Eleanor hadn't dared to make a sound during the call, shrinking down in the passenger seat and avoiding the camera's view, not even trying to get a glimpse of Chloe. The power of the official girlfriend, perhaps. The business major, Leo replied nonchalantly. For some reason, talking about his two-timing with Eleanor felt strangely easy, completely free of any psychological burden. She sounds very cheerful and energetic, Eleanor commented neutrally. Just from her voice, you could tell she was a bright, sunny young woman. Yeah, there's a reason I have her saved as Elf Princess in my phone, Leo said with a faint smile, a memory surfacing of that sunset when Chloe had jogged up to him and boldly asked for his number. If she hadn't been so forward that day, he thought, their paths probably never would have crossed. Eleanor's interest was piqued. What do you have me saved as? Little heiress, Leo said bluntly. That's so generic. Eleanor frowned, clearly displeased with the nickname. I have so many other qualities, and you only care about my money. Oh yeah? And what, pray tell, do you have me saved as? Leo asked, raising an eyebrow. Half good, half bad player, she said softly. Haha, seriously? Leo laughed. You actually named me that. MHM. Eleanor nodded and showed him her phone. There was in her contacts, half good, half bad player. It didn't have much of a ring to it, but it summed up Leo's situation perfectly. A brutally honest assessment, Leo noted with amusement. That was Eleanor, frank and to the point, unwilling and unbothered to play social games. It's accurate, but you should probably change it, Leo advised. If your parents saw that, they might not let you hang out with me anymore. What should I change it to? She asked. How should I know? Figure it out yourself, Leo said, not wanting to answer. Eleanor stared thoughtfully at the blank rename field, then turned to look at Leo as he drove. A moment later, with grim determination, she typed out two horrifying, world-shaking words. After dropping Eleanor off with her security, Leo drove back to the Evergreen Terrace apartments in high spirits. The prep work was done. Now he just had to wait for the actors to become available. That meant he had the next few days off to relax and have some fun. Oh, you're back. As Leo stepped out of the elevator, he saw Lily Reed standing helplessly in front of his apartment door, wearing an apron and holding a mop. Her face was etched with a heart-wrenching sorrow. What's wrong? Leo sensed something was amiss and hurried over. What happened? Leo. Lily's eyes were red-rimmed. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She just started crying softly, silently wiping away the tears with her sleeve. What is it? Tell me, Leo urged. A dreadful thought occurred to him. Is it your grandmother? Is something wrong back home? Lily shook her head gently. When I tell you, can you promise not to be mad at me? I really didn't mean to. Okay, I won't be mad. Just tell me what happened. Only then did Lily timidly explain. She had come over after class to make dinner and noticed that Leo's computer desk was dusty. She decided to wipe it down, but as she carried a basin of water into his bedroom, she slipped and fell, sending the entire basin of water pouring directly into his PC tower. Not knowing much about computers, she had then tried to press the power button to see if it was okay. The moment she did, the waterlogged machine sparked violently. Within a minute, Leo's custom-built PC, the one with the 4090 graphics card Chloe had given him, was completely fried. Leo, holding on to a sliver of hope, inspected the tower, which now reeked of burnt electronics. He even scanned it with God's eye. It was no use. Too much water, and crucially, she had powered it on while the internal components were soaked. It was a miracle it hadn't started a fire. The graphics card and the PC itself weren't the most important things. The key was that the hard drive held several chapters of his manuscript backlog, tens of thousands of words. With the computer dead, he had just lost out on tens of thousands of dollars in royalties. Lily was sobbing, wiping her eyes and whispering apologies. Leo, I really didn't mean to. What the hell is wrong with you? Who asked you for help? Do you have any idea how important the files on that computer were? You're a useless, provincial screw-up. 2. Let's break up. I'm tired. Not turning on a wet computer is common sense. Keeping a stupid woman like you around is just going to bring me more bad luck. 3. Check her for injuries and ask gently. Did you get hurt when you fell? Leo let out an almost imperceptible sigh and stood up, forcing a wry smile. It's okay. A computer can be replaced. Are you hurt? Did you fall on anything? He wasn't some benevolent saint. His first instinct was anger. That computer didn't just hold thousands of words of his work. It held Chloe's Valentine's Day gift and countless videos of his best gaming moments and high-rank screenshots. To a gamer, those things were as precious as a wall of anime figurines was to an otaku. But what could he do? She hadn't done it on purpose. It was a well-intentioned mistake. The damage was done, and there was no point in escalating the situation. Lily had been terrified he would be furious. But now, he was comforting her instead. Overwhelmed, she buried her face in his chest and sobbed even harder, soaking his shoulder with warm tears. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to. I just wanted to wipe your desk. I'm so sorry. It's okay. What's done is done, Leo said, holding her tall, slender frame and gently patting her back. I was actually thinking about getting a new computer anyway. You just helped me make up my mind. When I have time, you have to come with me to buy it, okay? Lily was too choked with guilt to speak, simply nodding in response. Ding! Lily Reed's affinity toward host has increased by 10. Current affinity, 70. Please continue your efforts. All right, now tell me, where did you get hurt? Leo took Lily's wrist and carefully examined her arms. Sure enough, he found a few bruises. It must have been a nasty fall. Go get changed. We're going out to buy some arnica cream for those bruises, Leo said, wiping the tear streaks from her cheeks. You have tomorrow off, right? Want to pull an all-nighter at the land center with me? I can get some writing done. I still have to post tonight's chapter. Okay. After Lily left, Leo unplugged the fried computer, planning to take it to a repair shop to have the graphics card removed. It was a gift from Chloe. Even broken, he couldn't bear to throw it away. He'd keep it as a memento. This must be karma for being a player, he muttered to himself, staring at the blackened PC tower with a bitter laugh. Whoa, buddy, did you pull this thing out of a war zone? The tech at the computer repair shop joked as he disassembled Leo's scorched PC tower. Leo just smiled. Beside him, Lily wrung her hands, anxiously watching Leo's reaction. There you go. Got out, the tech said, carefully removing the graphics card and handing it to Leo. He winced sympathetically. Geez, this card looks brand new. I hate to see this. Such a waste. Why are you keeping it, though? It's 100% fried. It's fine, just for sentimental value. Can you hold on to it for me? I'll pick it up tomorrow morning. Leo paid the fee and led Lily out of the shop, heading straight for a nearby gaming cafe. His luck seemed to be turning. Even on a packed Friday night, he managed to find an open private booth for two. Man, it's been a while since I've pulled an all-nighter, Leo said, sinking into a plush gaming chair. His foul mood seemed to lift slightly. Lily sat in the chair next to him, still watching him with a hesitant, fearful expression. Leo ordered a pile of snacks and drinks. Seeing Lily's worried face, he finally asked, why the long face? Her reply was startling. We're not breaking up, are we? On the way to the cafe, Leo had been quiet and sullen. Lily had convinced herself he was thinking about ending things with her. Leo blinked. What? Do you want to break up with me? And no, of course not. The question terrified her. She shook her head frantically. I don't want to break up with you. I like you a lot. Normally, after saying something so bold, Lily would have shrunk into herself like a turtle, blushing and hiding her face. But now, she just looked at him with desperate, pleading eyes. Please, let's not break up. I can't bear it. I really know I was wrong. Leo didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Wait, why would you think I want to break up with you? She looked at him with her big, sorrowful eyes. You just seem to be in a really bad mood. You barely said a word the whole way here. So if I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to break up with you? What kind of logic is that? Leo asked, baffled. If that's all it takes, our relationship must be pretty fragile. Then we're not breaking up. Lily clutched his fingers, her voice filled with a heartbreaking sincerity. I'll never go into your bedroom again, I promise. Lily was a simple person by nature. She'd never dated anyone else and had stumbled into this relationship with Leo in a daze. Most of the time, she could only guess at his thoughts through the lens of her own sensitivity and low self-esteem. And with her insecurity, she almost always assumed the worst. You dummy. You could tell I was in a bad mood. You have to give me some time to process things, right? Leo took her slightly cold hand and comforted her patiently. Your boyfriend is human, you know? I can't just flip a switch and be happy. The day's events had hit him hard. It was only natural his mood was affected, and since he couldn't take it out on anyone, he just had to let it pass. I'm sorry, she whispered, still feeling guilty, as if it were all her fault. Since talking wasn't working, Leo leaned over and pressed a firm, deep kiss to her full, rosy lips. He pulled back with a grin. It's okay. Lily pressed her lips together, a mixture of relief and overwhelmed emotion in her eyes. They were filled with the image of this boy who, in her mind, was always thinking of her. You know, Leo said playfully, I just realized when I kissed you that there's a camera in this booth. The cafe owner probably saw that whole thing. In a sudden burst of boldness, Lily leaned in and kissed him back, her breathing a little ragged. As long as I'm with you, I don't care. Funny. Me neither, Leo said, caressing her cheek and kissing her again, more deeply this time, his hand starting to wander. The misunderstanding resolved. A sudden heat flared between them. "Excuse me, here are your snacks. And drinks." Just then, the door to the booth slid open. A young female employee holding a large tray of food and drinks froze, her eyes wide at the steamy scene inside. The waitress delivered the snacks and drinks and fled, her face a mask of blushing, gossipy excitement. She would undoubtedly be sharing this story with her coworkers. Leo didn't care. It wasn't like he was a regular here. A couple making out was hardly a crime. The girl was young. She wouldn't blow a simple, awkward encounter out of proportion. "See? It's all your fault," Leo said, playfully shifting all the blame to Lily. "I told you there was a camera, and you still had to be a little deviant. Now, my pristine reputation is ruined. They'll probably ban me from this place." Lily straightened the wrinkled collar of her shirt, shooting him a look that was both shy and resentful. She was too embarrassed to argue about something so shameless, and silently took the blame. "So," Leo said, his voice dropping low, "should we go to a hotel?" The question was loaded with suggestion, his face a picture of innocent expectation. Even someone as naive as Lily knew what it meant for a boy and a girl to go to a hotel alone. She was just surprised he'd be so direct about it. Her small mouth fell open, and she stammered for a moment before her gaze darted away from his. Her slender fingers twisted together nervously, and she bit her lip, which was still slick from their kisses, clearly wrestling with the idea. Lily was a passive person by nature. The fact that she didn't say no, but also didn't say yes, was an answer in itself. Leo knew he had her. If he logged off right now, he could easily lead this sweet, simple girl to a hotel. "Wanted to get you set up on a machine?" he asked instead, deciding not to tease her anymore. After a moment of intense internal debate, Lily pressed her lips together firmly, as if making a decision. I didn't bring my ID," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "See, could we go home and get it first?" "It's fine. I have an app for that," Leo said, deliberately misunderstanding. "You just have to remember your ID number, and they can set you up with a temporary account." Lily stared at him blankly for a second before the mischievous grin on his face gave him away. She had been played again. "You're terrible," she muttered, turning away in a fluster, leaving him with a view of her flushed neck and the graceful curve of her body. "Wow, so I was wrong to offer to pay for your gaming session," Leo teased. "When I treat my other friends to an all-nighter, they practically bow down to me." He had been fantasizing about Lily for a long time. The main reason he'd started dating her. To put it nicely, it was love at first sight. To put it bluntly, it was lust at first sight. But right now wasn't the time. Not until his quadrangular relationship was completely stable. Then he would have plenty of time to explore the boundless wickedness Lily seemed to carry within her. Yeah, definitely wicked, he thought, giving her another deep look and subconsciously rubbing his fingers together, the memory of her softness still lingering. For the next few hours, Leo focused on writing. Lily put on headphones and sat quietly beside him like a good little girl, her hands folded in her lap, watching a movie. Every so often, her eyes would drift over to him, eventually becoming captivated by the words appearing on his screen. She paused her movie. "You're a really good writer," she said softly. It wasn't just empty praise. Language arts had always been her strong suit, and just by reading a few paragraphs of his work, she could feel the power and immersion of his prose. What amazed her even more was the speed at which he typed. His hands flew across the keyboard, his fingertips a blur. "Take notes, kiddo," Leo said with a smug hum, then opened his mouth in an odd gesture. Lily, understanding immediately, placed a potato chip on his tongue. As he took the chip, Leo playfully nudged her slender fingers with his tongue before chewing triumphantly. Lily's face reddened slightly. Seeing him munching away so happily, she smiled, content, and continued to feed him snacks, each time receiving a playful little tease in return. To an outsider, their behavior might seem bizarre, even gross. But for a couple in the throes of new love, it was perfectly normal. The cloying sweetness of a relationship's honeymoon phase was like peeing your pants. Everyone else thinks it's disgusting, but only you know how warm it feels. Finally done. After finishing his chapters for the day, Leo turned to her expectantly. "Want to get some chicken dinner?" Lily's face turned a shade of red, so deep you could practically see the blood rushing to it. She instinctively shrank back. Here. Where else? You think I brought you to a land cafe just to watch me, right?" Leo hadn't caught on yet, casually brushing chip crumbs off his shirt. Seeing no reaction from her, he figured she wasn't into that kind of game. "Never mind. I'll just play by myself. You can keep watching your movie." Lily's eyes darted down to his pants, then back up to his calm expression. She looked incredibly conflicted and shy. "There are cameras here," she whispered. "Can we go to a hotel?" No matter how much she liked Leo, even if she was willing to do such intimate, risque things with him, she couldn't bring herself to perform such a mortifying act while being watched. What are you talking about? Leo tilted his head, confused for a moment. Then it dawned on him. She had completely misunderstood. Oh my God, I meant the game. He sat back down and clicked on the PUBG icon. This game, he explained, laughing. Its nickname is Chicken Dinner. Where did your mind go? Lily stared at the screen, at the game character wearing a level 3 helmet. She was frozen for a long, long moment. Then, activating her signature move, she turned to face the wall, silently contemplating her shame, leaving Leo with a view of her crimson neck. I give up, he said, torn between amusement and a rising sense of bewilderment. A slow, nameless fire began to spread through him. He couldn't believe that a girl as sweet and innocent as Lily knew the other meaning of chicken dinner. The information age truly was a double-edged sword. It had created a legion of online trolls, but it had also armed kind-hearted girls with a surprising amount of technical knowledge. Leo subtly adjusted himself in his seat, a new sense of anticipation dawning. Well, he thought to himself, looks like this sweet dummy is in for a treat in the future. 120, you see him? Shoot. Leo, someone's shooting at me. I think I'm surrounded. Pop a smoke at your feet. I'm coming to get you. Dude, that's a grenade. Haha, that's hilarious. I'm clipping that and putting on TikTok. It'll definitely go viral. Stop laughing at me. Inside their private booth at the gaming cafe, Leo was in the middle of an intense session of PUBG with Lily Reed, a classic shooter that had been wildly popular in a bygone era of the internet. These days, the game was overrun with cheaters. He was also saddled with a mobile target who could only crawl on the ground and had no idea how to even fire a gun. No matter how good Leo's skills were, he was almost always wiped on the drop. The best they'd managed was 4th place. Lily had never really played online games, let alone a kill-or-be-killed shooter like this. But she got to play with Leo, and even if she didn't understand the appeal of the game, she followed him without complaint from one immediate death to the next. In the game, she served as his walking, oversized loot crate. Her backpack was nearly empty of ammo and throwables, filled instead with every medical supply she could find, and occasionally some clothes she'd looted from enemy boxes. If Leo got hit, she'd run through a hail of bullets to drop a medkit next to him. If Leo got knocked by a camper while looting somewhere else, Lily would run over, empty-handed, and be promptly executed by the other player before joining Leo on the flight to the next match. Though they never achieved any respectable results, they had an incredible amount of fun. Leo couldn't help but think that maybe this was what it meant to truly play a game just for the sake of playing. The night deepened. Around 3 in the morning, the cafe grew quiet. Most of the customers had left. Only a few hardcore gamers who treated the place like a second home remained, occasionally shuffling past the booth on their way to the restroom or to wake up the sleeping attendant to buy something. Gaming cafes and LAN centers were a dying breed. Just a few years ago, a Friday night like this would have been packed, a sea of people. It would never have been this deserted. Unlike the endlessly energetic Leo, Lily was starting to get tired. This was far past her biological clock, and she was clearly fading. Drowsy and sluggish, she could barely hold her mouse steady. All right, you should get some sleep, Leo said, gently taking off her headset. I'll play for a bit. We'll go get breakfast around 7. Lily mumbled, her eyes heavy. She leaned back wearily in the soft, cushioned chair. Her legs were long, and the booth was cramped, forcing her to curl up in a way that looked incredibly uncomfortable. Take your shoes off, Leo suggested. You can pull your chair over and lie down across both. You'll sleep better. Otherwise, you'll be sore all over in the morning. Is that okay? There's a camera, Lily said, embarrassed at the thought of taking her shoes off in a public place. She glanced nervously at the security camera above. Dummy, what's not okay about it? Leo said dismissively. I used to push my monitor all the way to the corner and sleep with half my body draped over the desk. He stood up and pushed his chair next to hers, then patted her full thigh. Come on, don't be shy. Are you really going to be so formal with your boyfriend? No, Lily said, half reluctantly taking off her shoes and socks. She revealed a pair of pale, delicate feet and hesitantly rested them on Leo's lap. Gonna get you, Leo teased, tickling the soles of her feet. Lily giggled and squirmed, then pouted at him in mock annoyance. Leo patted her feet reassuringly. Go to sleep. I'll wake you when our time is up. Can I switch directions? Lily asked, her voice a low whisper. It was one of the rare moments she took the initiative to advance their relationship. Sure. Seeing her actively trying to close the distance between them, Leo naturally didn't refuse. Lily got up and laid her head on Leo's lap, stretching her long legs out over her own chair, her pale feet just touching the tiled wall beneath the window. This position made it difficult for Leo to play PUBG, so he launched League of Legends and started a game of teamfight tactics instead. One hand was on the mouse, moving pieces on the board. The other gently and rhythmically stroked Lily's hair and smooth cheek, as if he were petting a cat. "Leo, I really, really like you," Lily whispered, her sleepiness vanishing as she took in the familiar scent and the warmth of his fingers. It was a brave and shy confession. "MHM, I like you too," Leo replied with a casual smile, typing with one hand to flame the guy who was holding the champions he needed. "This motherfucker holding my gangplank when he's about to get 8th place. I hope every game you play for the rest of your life gets backseat gamed. I'm not very smart, and I might accidentally make you angry again like I did today," Lily said, still worried about the gaming rig incident. "If that happens, can you please not break up with me? If you're really mad, you could just yell at me. I already told you I don't care about that. Why are you still stuck on it?" Leo paused, annoyed. "If you bring it up again, I might actually get mad." I won't. Please don't be mad," Lily said, shaking her head quickly and falling silent. Leo gently squeezed her soft cheek. "Man, how did I end up with such a sweet dummy for a girlfriend?" Lily opened her mouth to argue, but stopped herself. In this position, she couldn't see his face and worried he might still be angry. Not going to argue this time." Leo looked down at her, teasing. "So you admit you're a dummy?" "I'm not a dummy," she mumbled, clearly bothered by the nickname. "Huh." Leo couldn't help but laugh. He found it hard to believe this simple, earnest girl had managed to score a 1580 on her SATs. Lily shifted her head slightly to get more comfortable. Leo leaned down and whispered playfully, "There's a camera up there. Don't you go stealing a bite now." "Jerk," Lily muttered, her face turning crimson. After the earlier misunderstanding, she knew exactly what he meant. "You just love to bully me. I'm gonna bite you." She buried her face in his abdomen and gave the flesh there a gentle nip. Immediately after, the kind-hearted girl gently rubbed the spot she had bitten and looked up. "Did that hurt?" Leo looked down, his eyes meeting hers just as she was pouting. Looking at this silly, affectionate girl curled up in his lap, he asked in a voice that was both gentle and commanding, "So, are you going to let me bully you from now on?" Lily shyly looked away, but she gave an almost imperceptible nod and a soft, "MHM, I'll let you." The next afternoon, inside Portland's renowned Mount Tabor Psychiatric Clinic, 2 burly bodyguards stood like a fortress at the top of the stairs outside the clinic's wing. Down the hall, a middle-aged man in a sharp suit with slick-back hair paced anxiously, his hands clasped behind his back. He kept glancing toward the clinic door, his eyes filled with burning impatience. This was Harrison Hayes, the wealthiest man in Portland and founder of the Hayes Group. In front of him, a woman was practically pressing her ear to the clinic door, trying to catch any sound from within. This was his wife, Catherine Hayes. Though the couple were prominent figures in the city, when it came to their daughter's mental health, they were no different from most ordinary parents, racked with guilt over their mistakes and consumed with worry about her condition. Seeing his wife's undignified posture, completely lacking the composure of a corporate executive, a flash of irritation rose in Harrison. "For God's sake, Dr. Zhang has told you a dozen times that the door is soundproof. You can't hear anything. Can you please act normal? Don't tell me what to do." Catherine shot him a vicious glare. "This is all your fault, Harrison. Eleanor is like this because of you." In front of the cameras on financial news channels, they were the economic titans of Portland. To their employees, they were a devoted couple. To the public, they were cultured, elegant philanthropists. But in private, their arguments over their daughter's upbringing had driven their relationship to a freezing point. Every meeting was a confrontation. Their marriage existed only on paper. Catherine's love for her daughter was like that of most mothers. She just wanted Eleanor to live a normal, ordinary life. But Harrison wanted her to become the perfect debutante of his own design, forcing her to learn the ins and outs of high society etiquette from a young age. They had fought countless times over it, sometimes even coming to blows. "I was doing it for her own good," Harrison retorted, his voice thick with self-righteousness. "Bullshit. You think I don't know what you're really thinking? You're nothing but a sanctimonious hypocrite." Catherine spat. "You sacrificed your wife and daughter's feelings for your own precious image. You don't deserve to be Eleanor's father. Say what you want. I have nothing more to say to you," Harrison said, turning away in frustration and anger. "I'm telling you, Harrison, once Eleanor is better, I'm taking her abroad," Catherine declared. "You'll never see either of us again." "You dare," Harrison warned sternly. "She carries my name. The two of you will stay in this country for the rest of your lives." Harrison, you bastard. Catherine grabbed his tie, her executive demeanor completely gone. She was just a desperate housewife, lashing out at her husband. That's enough. Harrison pried at her hands, exasperated. They began to shove each other silently in the hallway. Just then, the clinic door creaked open. The grappling couple instantly froze. Their furious expressions vanished, replaced in a split second by warm, amiable smiles. A woman in a white coat with a cascade of natural golden curls stepped out. She was tall, just over 5'7", with long, shapely legs, a high-bridged nose, and a beautifully defined face. She looked to be in her late 20s. This was Dr. Nicole Zhang, the new head of the Mount Tabor Clinic, who had recently returned from abroad with Eleanor. A Chinese-American, Dr. Zhang was a genius in the field of psychology, having treated numerous patients with severe mental illnesses overseas. Catherine had hired her for an astronomical sum to be Eleanor's one-on-one therapist. Initially, Dr. Zhang had been hesitant to take on a private client, but Eleanor's case was severe. Without treatment, it would only worsen, potentially leading to suicidal ideation. Plus, the Hayes family's offer was beyond generous. They had purchased the entire prestigious clinic and gifted it to her as part of her fee. Dr. Zhang had no reason to refuse. She took on the challenge and returned to the States with Eleanor. Dr. Zhang's father was Chinese, her mother American. As a mixed-race woman, she had inherited a striking combination of features: natural blonde curls and the tall, voluptuous figure common among Western women. Her piercing blue eyes swept over the two powerful figures at the door, a fleeting, playful smile gracing her lips. She had clearly seen them on the verge of strangling each other just a moment ago. Leave it to business magnates to master the art of the quick change. Dr. Zhang, how is Eleanor doing? She must be much better, right? Catherine asked first, smoothing her disheveled hair. I've noticed that when she goes out with that boy, Leo, she always comes back smiling. Her psychological issues can't be that serious anymore, can they? She's not heading towards clinical depression again, is she? Yes, her condition has improved significantly. Why don't you both come in, Dr. Zhang said with a smile, ushering the couple into her office. Inside was a large sandplate tray filled with various figurines and miniature buildings. This was a therapeutic technique unique to psychologists. By having patients create scenes in the sand, they could indirectly express their internal emotions and psychological state. The therapist could then analyze the scene to identify hidden issues and diagnose the root of their mental distress. Eleanor herself was by the window, chatting and laughing on the phone. The three adults exchanged a knowing glance. It was obvious who was on the other end of the line: Leo Shepard. The day Leo met Eleanor, Harrison had his team run a full background check on him. It was no exaggeration to say that, short of hiring a private investigator to map out his entire social circle, Harrison had dug up everything there was to know about Leo's address, family, and personal history. Seeing her parents enter, Eleanor quickly ended the call. There were many things about her and Leo that her parents and therapist could not know. Dad, Mom, if there's nothing else, I'll head out now. Eleanor's mood was optimistic and bright, filled with a vibrant hope for the future. The girl who used to say less than 10 words a month to her parents had become talkative, a stark contrast to the gloomy, despondent person who had first returned home. Well, the couple looked uncertainly at Dr. Zhang. Of course, Eleanor, Dr. Zhang replied with a smile. Go and enjoy your life. Come back and visit whenever you have time. Okay, I will. Eleanor smiled sweetly. She hadn't even reached the door before she had her phone out again, eagerly dialing Leo's number. Hey, Leo. Yeah, that was my parents. I'm at the clinic. I have a doctor's note. I can show it to you sometime. Her voice faded down the hall. Catherine turned her attention to the sandplay tray, her expression hopeful. Dr. Zhang, Eleanor's almost completely better, isn't she? Catherine remembered the first session, when Eleanor's sand tray had depicted a single, expressionless figurine facing a plastic ocean, with a sprawling, desolate plastic city at its back. At the time, Dr. Zhang had analyzed that Eleanor might be suicidal, which had terrified the couple. Now, the scene was much less bleak. There were trees and houses, and 3 smiling figurines holding hands, strolling along the beach. It suggested that Eleanor's inner world had become much richer. Otherwise, why would she create a scene of a family of 3 enjoying a day at the sea? Catherine didn't fully understand sandplay therapy. She only knew it reflected her daughter's inner state. What she didn't know was that the 3 figures by the sea were not her family. And behind a plastic palm tree, another female figurine stood, smiling as she secretly watched the trio. This was the true reflection of Eleanor's psyche, or rather, the future she most desired. Yes, she's much better, Dar. Zhang said with a nod, her eyes glancing at the hidden figurine. The most important thing right now is to avoid putting any more psychological pressure on her. You absolutely cannot go back to strictly controlling her freedom. Dr. Zhang's expression turned serious. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, I'm not trying to be alarmist. Eleanor appears to be moving in a positive direction, but extremes can breed their opposites. You understand the concept of hitting rock bottom and bouncing back. Right now, a string has appeared in Eleanor's heart, one that is slowly helping her embrace a new life. If that string were to snap without her realizing it, her condition could become even more extreme and uncontrollable than before. Harrison, who had been listening intently, analyzed her words for a moment before speaking. This string you're talking about, it's that boy Leo Shepard, isn't it? Yes. For now, let's not analyze the boy's motives for getting close to Eleanor, Dar. Zhang explained methodically. We only need to know that being with him genuinely brings her happiness and hope. Those are the emotions she needs most right now. But you're a professional psychologist. Isn't talking to patients your specialty? Catherine asked, surprised. Can't even you compete with some fiction writer? Mrs. Hayes, you have to understand that I am a doctor. When I interact with Eleanor, she can never completely open up to me. She will always be conscious of my role, Dar. Zhang explained, then added with a half-joking smile. Of course, it's also possible this Leo kid is just exceptionally good at talking. You said he's a writer, didn't you? People like that often have a surprising talent for language. What if Eleanor falls in love with this person? Harrison asked, his voice steady but betraying a suppressed anger. His family had been in business for 3 generations, and he was a man obsessed with appearances. He would never permit his daughter to date a low-class web fiction author. Furthermore, when Leo had first met Eleanor, he'd had the gall to ask Harrison for help finding actors for his movie, leaving a terrible first impression. Catherine started to object, but then she thought about how her daughter had been saying Leo's name constantly. She, too, felt their relationship was something more. It's not what if. If my analysis is correct, she's already in love with him. I'm sure you've both noticed in her behavior, Dar. Zhang said seriously. Unless you can find someone else who can get Eleanor to open up, my professional advice is to wait until her illness is fully treated before you decide what to do about this boy. Then once she's well, we can just give the kid a sum of money and be done with it, Harrison said nonchalantly. For him, any problem that could be solved with money wasn't a problem at all. For once, Catherine agreed with him. She, who had always held herself in high regard, had no desire to see the daughter she had painstakingly raised get involved with a web fiction author. Well, that decision is up to you, Dr. Zhang said, reiterating her warning. But my advice remains the same. Before Eleanor has fully recovered, you cannot let that string break. After a few more brief exchanges, the couple left the office, their minds heavy with worry. During their conversation, Dr. Zhang had deliberately withheld one crucial piece of information. She hadn't told the couple that the boy Eleanor had fallen for was a bona fide player. When Eleanor had arranged the figurines, Dr. Zhang had specifically asked her about their relationship. Lost in her fantasy of a desired future, Eleanor had blurted out, "Those two are his girlfriends." Although Eleanor had tried desperately to backtrack, Dr. Zhang saw the truth in her panicked expression. This Leo Shepard was a player. Otherwise, Eleanor would never have created a sand tray that so closely resembled a cuckwing fantasy. Man, kid, you must be really desperate to play with the daughter of the richest man in the city, Dr. Zhang thought. She perched her shapely hips on the edge of the sand tray and picked up the male figurine. I hope you don't end up in cement shoes at the bottom of the river. You little player, she murmured with playful pity. Dr. Zhang had never met Leo and had no reason to cover for him. She was doing this for Eleanor. Right now, the young heiress was completely dependent on that player's sweet talk. The daughter of a billionaire in love with a two-timing player, with a possible cuckwing fantasy on top of it all. This was, without a doubt, the most unusual case Dr. Zhang had ever encountered. In reality, the truth was often stranger than fiction. In her bedroom in the Willow Creek Estates mansion, Eleanor was lying on her side, clutching her phone, her eyes glazed over in a state of reverie. Leo, you haven't yelled at me in so long. She pleaded. What sin did I commit to deserve this kind of filth in broad daylight? Leo gripped the steering wheel, his body buzzing with agitation as he listened to the unhinged sounds coming from his phone. I'm begging you, have some self-control, will you? Your health is already fragile. If you keep this up, you're going to get suplexed by an ant. You won't come see me, and I'm so bored. When are you coming to see me again? We'll see. Probably the day after tomorrow. The actresses he'd signed were about to wrap up their shoots on other sets. The script and lines were ready, As soon as they were available, he was going to be busy. Okay. Good. Good what? I'm good. Oh my God. I'm hanging up. Don't call me. Heart pounding and face flushed, Leo ended the call and quickly muted his message notifications. He drove to the Lunar Phase Gaming Cafe near PSU and had to sit in the underground parking garage for a long time before he finally cooled down. Just then, Chloe Miller sent him their location, along with a 10-second selfie video. In it, Maya Pierce was grinding her teeth while playing a game, her fingers flying across the keyboard as she argued with her teammates. His girlfriend's best friend was dressed as sensually as ever. She wore an unbuttoned plaid long-sleeve shirt over a tank top printed with random English phrases. The outfit revealed a large expanse of pale skin and accentuated her prominent curves. On the bottom, she had on a pair of ripped, frayed denim shorts that, while a bit punk, showed off her long legs perfectly. The video ended with a shot of Chloe's own beautiful face, unable to hold back a smile as she whispered with glee, "Haha, Leo, hurry up and save the day. Someone's tilting off the face of the earth." Maya hadn't gone home today. Bored in her empty dorm room, she'd insisted on hanging out with Chloe. If it had been anyone else, Chloe would have never let them intrude on her one-on-one time with Leo. What girl wanted a third wheel around on a romantic date? But this was her best friend, the girl she'd grown up with. Before Chloe started dating Leo, she and Maya were as close as sisters, practically inseparable. Of course, she was willing to bring Maya along. Still, before they left, Chloe had made one condition. After dinner, Maya had to go her own way. There were some things a best friend could absolutely not be involved in. It was a matter of principle. Maya had readily agreed, teasing Chloe for being whipped. The campus Wi-Fi was down for maintenance today, so while waiting for Leo, Maya had suggested they hang out at the cafe. Lunar Phase was close to campus, and half its clientele were PSU students. Leo himself had been a regular during his school days, pulling all-nighters here with his roommates every Friday and Saturday. Today was Saturday, and the place was packed. Students who couldn't get a station were either scrolling on their phones in the lounge area or standing behind their friends, acting as armchair generals and barking out orders. Leo found the booth number Chloe had sent. From a distance, he could see Maya fuming at her screen and Chloe casually leaning back in her chair, scrolling through TikTok. He came up behind them and pinched Chloe's soft cheek. "I'm impressed you guys even got a spot." "Lucky." "Hee hee, you know it. It's a good day for Aries," Chloe said, grinning as she shut off her phone. She looked up from the chair, her delicate face beaming at the boy she'd been missing for days. The gaming chairs were large, and Chloe's frame was petite. "Is that so?" Leo scooped her up and settled her onto his lap, completely ignoring the other customers. He leaned in and stole a kiss from her sweet cherry lips. "Then I'd better absorb some of that good luck," he said, feigning seriousness. "Hey, you're so annoying." Chloe rolled her eyes playfully, but her face was alight with joy as she sat cross-legged on his lap and snuggled closer. "Leo, have you missed me at all?" Chloe had been swamped with studying for her midterms, her textbooks practically glued to her hands. She hadn't even dared to chat with Leo at night, worried she'd get distracted. Now that her exams were over and the boy she adored was right in front of her, all the longing she had suppressed came rushing out. Chloe had always been the type to do as she pleased, never caring what others thought. Just like on Valentine's Day, when she'd been bold enough to kiss him passionately right outside her apartment building. 1. Flirtatious question. "Hee, so what's my reward if I did?" 2. Dismissive. "I told you I've been busy trying to start my own business shooting videos. This is a critical growth period for my career. How could I get away?" 3. Eager, like crazy. "I've been saving it up for you for a whole week. It's all yours tonight." "Hee, so is there a reward if I did?" Leo gave her perky but a little lift and wrapped an arm around her slim waist, pulling her sweet-smelling body into his embrace. The weather was slightly cool today. Chloe wore a fleece-lined, pale pink hoodie and a light gray pleated skirt. Her smooth calves were wrapped in white knee-high socks, and she'd tied her shoulder-length hair into 2 lively pigtails. From head to toe, she radiated pure energy. The Chloe of 2024 was a perfect embodiment of her generation. She was fluent in internet memes and loved to dress up, constantly experimenting with viral fashion trends. Leo had never seen her wear the same outfit twice. She was a regular fashion chameleon. Chloe tilted her chin up defiantly, pouting her pink lips. "You have to say you miss me first." Even though she adored Leo, she maintained her unique blend of willfulness and pride in their relationship, always trying to keep her roguish boyfriend on his toes. To this day, Chloe had never fully and completely expressed her feelings for him. A brave, Heartfelt confession like the one Lily had made last night would probably only come from Chloe's lips after she and Leo were married. Seriously, I'm getting flamed into oblivion over here, and you two are being all lovey-dovey next to me. Maya was in a heated exchange with both the enemy team and her own when she turned and saw them cuddling. A surge of irritation shot through her. Is it really that serious? Leo leaned over, amused. Good lord. Her vein was 1-17. The 5 enemy players were taunting her, and even her own teammates were flaming her in chat. What rank is this? Leo asked. Wanting to play for you. Platinum 1. You think you can handle it? This was Maya's main account, where she played support and ADC. Her actual skill level was gold at best. She'd only reached Plat 1 because a few of her simps had carried her there, which explained her disastrous score. Of Platinum 1? You're kidding, Leo scoffed, waving a dismissive hand. Here, let me... Please. Leo could dominate in Diamond and even Challenger lobbies when he was on his game. A Plat 1 game in a minor region was nothing. Fine, I can't win anyway, so at least you can flame them back for me. Maya said, her spirits lifting. She stood up and switched places with Leo. You have to have a good mentality for ranked. You'll never climb with an attitude like that, Leo said with a laugh. His fingers flew across the keyboard, typing in a command to mute all chat. He analyzed the team compositions and the current state of the game. All 3 of their inhibitors were down, and both Nexus turrets were gone. If it weren't for their top laner and mid laner having decent farm and stubbornly stalling, the game would have been over at 15 minutes. Unfortunately, their top was an Ornn and mid was a Malzahar. If Maya's Vayne didn't start dealing damage late game, they had no chance. He glanced at Maya's summoner name. I don't eat cilantro. Now entering the game, I don't eat beef, Leo announced, cracking his knuckles. He quickly adjusted the key bindings and headed to the bottom lane to clear the minion wave. The enemy Zed, seeing the 1-17 Vayne brazenly showing herself in lane, activated Yumu's Ghostblade and charged. The Zed was terrifyingly fed, with 3 full items before the 20-minute mark. He didn't even need his ultimate to one-shot Leo's Vayne. In contrast, Leo's Vayne had only a blade of the Ruined King and attack speed boots, and was 3 levels behind. As soon as the Zed was in view, he dove, locking onto Vayne with his ultimate. He was bloodthirsty, treating the 1-17 Vayne as less than human. Final hour. Leo immediately activated Vayne's ultimate. The moment Zed reappeared, Leo used Tumble to go invisible, creating distance and narrowly dodging Zed's lethal shuriken. He began to kite, dancing on a razor's edge. The Zed was stunned by Vayne's sudden fluid mechanics. After a brief hesitation, he used his shadow clone to close the gap, trying to finish her off with a delayed pop from his ultimate. But just as Zed appeared on top of him, Leo executed a perfect E-flash, using Condemn to slam Zed into a wall and unloading a flurry of auto attacks. Even with only 1 damage item, Maya had thankfully maxed Vayne's silver bolts. A few 3-hit procs melted Zed's health bar. The assassin was forced to warp back to his shadow and flee. He's going to Q-flash. What? Leo muttered to himself. Before Maya could process it, the enemy Zed did exactly that, flashing forward to throw his shuriken. With his massive item advantage, if that Q landed, a single auto attack combined with his ultimate's delayed damage would be enough to kill Vayne. But at the exact moment Zed flashed, Leo made a tiny sidestep, dodging the projectile by a hair's breadth. He then finished off the 16-2 Zed with a few more auto attacks, collecting 1,000 gold bounty. Ah, funny little shuriken boy, Leo scoffed, flashing a mastery emote. Whoa, that was amazing, Leo. Chloe played League occasionally, but she was only Bronze 1. She didn't understand the technicalities of Leo's smooth kiting and flashy mechanics, but she knew it was incredibly impressive. How did you know he was going to Q-flash? Maya asked, a mix of surprise and admiration in her eyes. I didn't even tell you if he had flash up. Please. At this rank, I know what he's going to do the second he turns around, Leo explained calmly. And I even overestimated him. He did a flash Q, not the harder Q flash. Damn, Maya said, impressed despite not fully understanding. She suddenly remembered looking at Leo's social media profile when she was trying to figure out if he was a player. It had been filled with gaming posts. This guy was a serious gamer. With the 1,000 gold shut down from Zed, and after a few small team fights, Leo's Vayne was finally catching up. In fights, his positioning was flawless, his movement impossibly nimble. He found perfect windows to deal damage, and the enemy team couldn't even touch him. After a few more skirmishes, Leo had racked up several high-value kills. His damage output underwent a qualitative change. The enemy team finally realized they needed to focus the Vayne and deny him space to operate. Though chat was muted, their top laner and mid laner had noticed Vayne's sudden transformation. They began to peel for Leo in team fights. Even the Yumi, who had previously abandoned Vayne for the jungler, now attached herself to Leo, providing shields and heals. This was a low yellow server, after all. The enemy's mechanics were average at best, and Leo had already closed the item gap. His team started winning fight after fight, securing objectives across the map. It got to the point where they didn't even need their Ornn to engage. Leo's Vayne, with Yumi attached, could dive straight into the enemy base, chasing all 5 of them down. Chloe and Maya watched, mesmerized by Leo's dazzling display of skill. Maya even took out her phone to record, completely won over by his gameplay. This guy was good enough to be a streamer. After one final team fight, a solo performance of what looked like script-level dodging, Leo led his 4 teammates to an incredible comeback victory. In the post-game lobby, the teammates who had been flaming Maya were now spamming GG, WP, completely in awe of Leo's performance. All 4 of them honored him. The enemy team, on the other hand, accused him of scripting and threatened to report him. Leo typed "get good" in all chat, then turned to a slightly stunned Maya, raising an eyebrow smugly. "So, am I good or what?" "Damn, you're good," Maya admitted, a look of genuine interest on her face. "Not bad, Leo. I didn't know you had that in you." Ding. Maya Pierce's affinity for the host has increased by 3 points. Current affinity, 10. Please continue your efforts. "It's alright. Just haven't played in a while, so my skills have gotten a bit rusty," Leo said with a flex, cracking his knuckles and shaking his head in mock regret. "Back in the day, I used to dominate in Challenger. Now I'm sweating in a plat game on a minor server." Alright, that's enough. Don't get a big head," Maya said with a laugh, then shot a playful glare at Chloe. "Aren't you going to control your boyfriend? He's showing off to your best friend." "I can't control him," Chloe said, sticking out her tongue playfully. "I'm the one who has to tiptoe around him." Maya had been an online influencer for years. She had excellent social skills and was quick-witted. As long as you weren't a complete idiot, a conversation with her would never fall flat. She knew how to make people feel comfortable. Chloe's parents were both business owners, and she'd been raised around sophisticated social interactions. Her emotional intelligence was equally high. Under her mother Carla's influence, she knew how to make her man look good in front of others and would never let him be embarrassed. As a result, the atmosphere between the 3 of them was perfectly harmonious. There was none of the stereotypical drama where the best friend tries to break up the couple. "Leo, it's still early. How about you play a couple more for me?" Maya asked hopefully. "I'm only 40 points away from Diamond. It's up to you guys. What do you think? Want to go walk around now?" Leo deferred the decision to Chloe, a gesture that acknowledged her status as his girlfriend. If he had immediately agreed to Maya's request, it would have seemed like he was disregarding Chloe's feelings. It wasn't a big deal, but with a more sensitive girlfriend, such a small thing could lead to her imagining all sorts of things between her boyfriend and her best friend. As expected, Chloe smiled happily. "Go ahead and play. Help her out for a bit. We can go out this afternoon." "Hee, you're the best. My bestie for life," Maya chirped, then asked, "I'm on the front desk to buy some snacks and 3 boba teas. What do you guys want?" Maya was clearly a regular here. She knew that with the weekend rush, the staff would be swamped. Ordering from the computer would take forever. It was much faster to go to the counter and pay directly. "Just coffee for me," Leo said. Chloe scanned the cafe's online menu. "I'll have the passion fruit green tea with boba. With or without ice?" Maya asked with a suggestive grin, a knowing look on her face. Chloe's face reddened as she raised a threatening fist. Hee, Maya giggled, her mission accomplished, and headed toward the front desk. "So annoying," Chloe muttered, her cheeks burning. She turned back around, only to meet Leo's intensely expectant gaze. "So, does your boba come with ice?" "Definitely not," Chloe snapped, baring her slightly sharp canine teeth. She pushed his face away, giving him a look that was both shy and exasperated. "You two are 2 peas in a pod. You should just date Maya. I think you'd be a great match." "Haha, my bad, Leo said, laughing as he tried to console his adorably stubborn girlfriend. A few minutes later, an attendant finally brought over their drinks and a large platter of assorted snacks. Chloe held her frosty boba tea, nibbling on a potato chip as she pretended to watch a movie on her monitor, her pretty face still warm. She didn't want to look at the conspiratorial glances being exchanged by her boyfriend and her best friend. "Thank God, I don't have anything planned for tonight," Leo thought with a sigh of relief. It had been a while since he'd had some quality time with his elf princess. They hadn't seen each other in so long. Tonight, this blazing troll would have to show his true capabilities. As expected, with Leo at the helm, the Platinum Games were a complete slaughter. His masterful game sense, combined with his insane reaction speed, resulted in him getting MVP in the next 2 matches. It was a total stomp, leaving the local plat players scrambling in terror, accusing him of being a booster. "Chloe, I think I finally get why you fell for Leo," Maya whispered in Chloe's ear, glancing at Leo's hands flying across the keyboard. "With that kind of finger speed, who wouldn't be mesmerized? You're terrible." Chloe instantly understood the innuendo and slapped her mischievous friend, her face crimson. "All right, you're in Diamond," Leo announced after another victory. He offered some sincere advice. "I suggest you lay off rank for a bit. It's the start of a new season, so it's full of boosters. Aram is pretty fun, though." The subtext was clear. Stop playing ranked and feeding. Leo had always despised female players who got carried by simps only to throw games and flame their teams. Of course, this was his girlfriend's best friend, so he couldn't be that blunt. "Hey Leo, I'll give you my login info. Can you play for me when you have time?" Maya asked, trying to sound cute. "My account was Challenger last season, you know? I want to get back there this season too." Chloe tilted her head, a massive question mark appearing over it. Why did that line sound so familiar? Wasn't that what Maya said to her army of simps? Why was she using it on her boyfriend? Chloe figured Maya just wanted a gaming buddy or really wanted to hit Challenger. She assumed Leo wouldn't dare agree so openly, so she went back to her idle drama, blissfully unaware. After more than a decade of friendship, she trusted Maya completely. Even if something did happen, Chloe was sure it would be Leo's fault for seducing her. As for Leo, upon hearing Maya's request, the system prompt appeared. "1, no problem. You're my girlfriend's best friend. Helping you climb is normal. Send me the login info." 2, whoa, my girlfriend is right here. Can we talk about this privately? 3, why would you need a password? I'm the challenger you're looking for. Let's get a hotel tonight, and you can climb as high as you want. Whoa, my girlfriend is right here, Leo said, feigning a difficult position. Ding. Chloe Miller's affinity for the host has increased by 3 points. Current affinity, 60. Please continue your efforts. I knew it, Chloe said, lifting her chin proudly. She was very pleased with Leo's answer, her expression practically screaming. "See, that's my boyfriend. So loyal." But then, Leo leaned over and whispered to Maya, just loud enough for Chloe to hear. "Can we talk about this privately?" Leo, a guy having fun with 2 stunningly beautiful girls in a gaming cafe, was a sight that made the other customers both envious and bitter. Only a few hardcore gamers, their focus locked on their screens, spared a disdainful glance for the man surrounded by beauties before diving back into their virtual worlds. Their attitude could be summed up by a famous quote from Lu Sun. "The joys and sorrows of humanity are not shared. I only find them noisy." Don't get it twisted, Lu Sun actually said that. To put it more bluntly, get lost, women. I'm spending my life with my games. I'm kidding, Leo said, laughing as he endured his girlfriend's barrage of playful punches. "Oh, you were kidding?" Maya wiped away fake tears. "And here I thought you were serious." Sigh, my love was all for nothing. "Okay, that's enough. Your acting is way too convincing," Leo said, using Maya's joke to smoothly change the subject. "My video series is about to start filming. If you auditioned, you'd be a shoo-in for the lead role." "Huh, you're starting filming." Chloe's fists immediately stopped. She blinked curiously. "Yeah, probably the day after tomorrow," Leo said. "Get lost, women. I'm spending my life with my games." I'm kidding, Leo said, laughing as he endured his girlfriend's barrage of playful punches. "Oh, you were kidding?" Maya wiped away fake tears. "And here I thought you were serious." Sigh, my love was all for nothing. "Okay, that's enough. Your acting is way too convincing," Leo said, using Maya's joke to smoothly change the subject. "My video series is about to start filming. If you auditioned, you'd be a shoo-in for the lead role." "Huh, you're starting filming." Chloe's fists immediately stopped. She blinked curiously. "Yeah, probably the day after tomorrow," Leo said, gently freeing Chloe's pigtail from where it was caught on her shirt. "The script and lines are all ready. As soon as the actresses' schedules are clear, I'm going to be busy." "Doesn't that mean we won't see each other for a long time again?" Chloe mumbled unhappily. Deep in the honeymoon phase, she had no desire to experience the pains of a long-distance relationship. "I'm not shooting every single day. The actors need days off too, Leo consoled her. "Besides, if you miss me, you can always come visit me on set." "Really?" Chloe asked, her eyes lighting up. "I've never been to a real film set in LA. Can I come visit you on the weekends?" "Of course you can," Leo agreed instantly. "But you have to let me know the day before you come. Otherwise, security won't let you in." Leo was already subconsciously trying to keep Chloe and Eleanor from meeting, even if Eleanor was smart enough not to expose her. alternative relationship with Leo in front of Chloe. He'd rather the two of them never met at all. He wanted to avoid any potential spark that could ignite a catastrophic drama. Then it's a deal, Chloe said, overjoyed. Go get him, Leo. I hope you become a world-famous director soon, the kind that makes millions a year. I'll take that good omen, Leo said with a nod, feigning enjoyment. In truth, he had no desire to be a director. To promote his web fiction-based shorts, he didn't need to go around pitching to investors. He could just pay for ads on the social media apps. Given his explosive situation, if he ever became a famous director, all it would take was a few days of paparazzi tailing him for his secrets to be exposed. He'd be trending for all the wrong reasons, and not even he knew how he would get out of that. His ultimate goal was to build a following with short videos and then transition into being a screenwriter. That job would let him stay behind the scenes. He wouldn't have to deal with actors or sponsors. He'd make just as much money, and he could sell his scripts to major directors. He could even invest in the films he wrote. It was the perfect two-for-one deal. And if the media ever did try to interview him, he could use his little rich girl's family connections to make any inconvenient stories disappear. Hey, more PDA, really? The single Maya cut the two lovebirds off. Don't you see a living person standing right here? Chloe, if you keep this up, I might just steal your man. Go ahead, Chloe said, hugging Leo's arm with a nonchalant smile. If you've got the skills to steal him, I have no objections. Leo could tell Chloe was joking and promptly protested. Hey, what about my opinion in all this? What? My best friend is gorgeous, has a great body, and you're not happy about it? Well, to be honest, a little. Didn't I tell you before? If I hadn't met you, I probably would have gone after your best friend. Leo. Hey, just kidding. Don't bite me. Sorry, are you two still kids? Seeing her childhood best friend find such an excellent boyfriend, Maya was genuinely envious. Leo was handsome, in great shape, could make money, was ambitious in his career, had a way with words, knew how to make his girlfriend happy, handled social situations perfectly, and was considerate of a girl's feelings. More importantly, he was an amazing gamer. He seemed to have no flaws. If he were just 10 years older, he would be her absolute ideal man. Unfortunately, a guy like that had already been snatched up by Chloe. As her best friend, Maya could only offer her blessings from the sidelines. Joking was just joking. Even if she felt a tiny spark of attraction for Leo, she would never do something as scummy as going after her best friend's boyfriend. All right, Katie said the campus Wi-Fi is back up, Maya said with a bittersweet smile. I'm not going to be your third wheel anymore. I'm heading back. Huh? You're not coming shopping with us? Chloe asked, surprised. TSK, are you really not afraid I'll steal your boyfriend? Maya shot back, half laughing. Here. Chloe grabbed Leo's arm and pushed him toward Maya. Best friends for life. What's mine is yours. Chloe sensed her friend's spirits were low and was trying to cheer her up. Come on, how old are you? Grow up, Maya said, rolling her eyes at them. Then she turned serious. Leo, you better treat my Chloe right, or else I'll make you pay. Mission accepted. Leo replied with a sharp salute. Dork, Maya said with a small smile. All right, that's it. I'm going back to the dorm. You two have fun on your romantic little date. I told you. Less of the PDF, Leo said softly as he watched Maya's familiar, lonely figure walk away. Your friend is single. She can't stand watching us like this. Sigh. It's not like there aren't guys at school chasing her, Chloe grumbled. She's the one who won't date anyone. What can I do? Besides her, everyone else in our dorm is in a relationship now. Are the freshmen at PSU really that bad this year? Leo asked, surprised. Not a single decent one. That's not it. Maya doesn't really care about looks that much, Chloe said, giving Leo a light slap. She just doesn't like the guys at our school. She thinks they're all too immature. Oh, so what's her type? If I run into someone who fits, I could set her up. She's your best friend. After all, Leo suggested. It's not fair for her to have to watch us be all couple-wise every time you bring her out. That's just sad. All right, I'll tell you what Maya's type is, Chloe said, linking her arm with Leo's as they walked through the bustling night market. After some thought, she decided to tell her boyfriend Maya's secret, but not without a serious warning. But you can't tell anyone else, and you can't let Maya know I told you. This is a secret between us. Do I seem like the kind of guy who can't keep his mouth shut? Come on, tell me. Who knows? Maybe I have a friend who's her ideal type. Leo didn't think much of it. It was normal. Whenever one of two best friends got a boyfriend, she was bound to share some secrets about the other, either out of goodwill or to dissuade any interest her boyfriend might have. From Chloe's hesitant attitude, Leo guessed Maya's standards were a bit unconventional. She likes older guys, Chloe whispered, glancing around cautiously as if afraid someone might overhear. What's so strange about that? Leo looked at Chloe, confused. It's perfectly normal for girls to like guys who are older than them. A lot of us guys like older women too. In today's materialistic society, the pressures on young people were immense. In such a restless and oppressive environment, most young people, regardless of gender, preferred partners who were older and more mature. That was the main reason Leo had felt an attraction to his landlady, Isabel, a divorced single mother, when they first met. Older partners, both emotionally and physically, really knew how to take care of their significant others. From time immemorial, young girls have crushed on older men, and young men have fallen for mature women. It was just how things were. She doesn't just like guys who are older than her. She likes men. Chloe corrected him in a hushed, serious tone. Like men who are 10 or 20 years older than her. The full-on silver fox type. Whoa, I see. Leo breathed, sucking in a sharp breath. That particular preference was indeed surprising. But given his experiences over the past 6 months, he didn't think it was that big of a deal. Older men had plenty of advantages over younger guys. A mature and steady personality, a wealth of life experience, financial stability. Things a wet-behind-the-ears kid couldn't hope to compete with. Her family situation isn't very good, is it? Or maybe her parents' relationship is bad. Leo ventured. Yeah, she and her dad have a terrible relationship, Chloe said resentfully. When I first met Maya, I'd go over to her house and often see her dad screaming at her mom. Sometimes he'd even hit her. Leo was shocked. What? Why wouldn't her mom divorce a guy like that? That's what I asked. Maya is always telling her mom to just divorce that scumbag, Chloe vented. But her auntie just won't do it. She keeps saying it's for Maya's own good, that Maya won't have a father if they divorce, and how embarrassing that would be. Leo was speechless. He pursed his lips and asked, if he's abusive, why not call the cops? They did. It was useless. Since they're still married, the most the police can do is lock him up for a few days. When he gets out, he just beats her even worse, Chloe explained anxiously. The police felt bad for her and even urged her to file for divorce, but her auntie refuses. I have no idea why. So that's how it is, Leo murmured, lost in thought. He finally understood why Maya liked older men. It was deeply connected to her family life. Lily Reed's tragic childhood, devoid of parental love, had shaped her into the deeply insecure person she was today. Based on Maya's clothes and style, her family wasn't poor, so she hadn't developed Lily's people-pleasing personality. The reason she liked men a generation older than her was because of her terrible relationship with her own father. Simply put, Maya was starved for a father's love. Subconsciously, she was searching for a much older man to fill that void. Well, in that case, I really don't have anyone suitable to introduce her to, Leo said with a helpless shrug. My dad's a great guy, but I can't exactly break up my parents to set him up with her. My mom would tear me in half. Ugh, you have no shame. Chloe pinched his arm, then sighed. See, this is why you have to be so careful about getting married. Isn't there that saying online? Marriage is the tomb of love. If you marry the wrong person, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I, Leo Shepard, wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. Leo's heart soared. You're tied down by so many things after you get married. As long as two people love each other, a piece of paper doesn't matter. That's not necessarily true. Not all love stories end so tragically, Chloe countered, looking up at him. If two people love each other, are compatible in every way, and both sets of parents approve, then under those happy circumstances, marriage is the beautiful culmination of love. I think. What, Leo? Chloe pouted, her clear eyes holding a hint of playful interrogation. Don't you agree? Well, you have a point, Leo said, feigning a romantic reverie. If you meet the right person and you both want it, marriage can be a wonderful thing. As he spoke, he instinctively tightened his arm around Chloe's slim waist. He didn't dare push the anti-marriage agenda any further, worried his incredibly perceptive girlfriend might sense something was off. Chloe hummed, satisfied, a sweet smile on her face. Neither of them had explicitly discussed their own future marriage, but they had just danced around the topic, sparring for several rounds. Chloe felt that since they had met each other's parents, and both families were very happy with the match, especially her father, Don, who had been grumbling lately about why she hadn't brought young Leo over to visit, she often found herself fantasizing about their future. After they got married, their two families would live happily in the same city, taking group vacations together on holidays. Life will be perfect, but Chloe had her own stubborn streak. If Leo didn't propose to her, didn't give her a romantic wedding, and only offered a half-hearted confession, she would absolutely not entrust the rest of her life to him so easily. Even if she loved him very much. After all, she had always been, and would always be, a girl who dreamed of beauty and romance. By the time they had explored the entire night market, it was already past 8. Leo was laden with bags from Chloe's shopping spree, while Chloe herself happily trotted beside him, holding a fluffy stick of cotton candy and occasionally offering him a bite with a cheerful smile. They made their way back to the underground parking garage of the gaming cafe. All day, every day, you just use me as your pack mule, Leo grumbled half-jokingly as he loaded Chloe's purchases into the trunk. Shopping with a girl was pure torture. He'd had the same thought as a kid when he had to go grocery shopping with his mom or his two silly sisters. He never thought that, as an adult, he'd have to endure this inhuman torment all over again. Every time they passed a clothing store at the market, Chloe would drag him inside for a look. If she found something she liked, she had to try it on. The worst part was that he had to be on high alert, ready to offer a critique of each outfit. Not too complimentary, but with objective pros and cons. It was exhausting. That's what shopping is, dummy. I think you've just been cooped up for too long, Chloe said with a grin. I suggest you come out with me more often. Sooner or later, you'll learn to love it. Stop, don't even say it, Leo said, horrified. I think staying home is great. You work me harder than a sled dog. You're exaggerating, Chloe giggled, covering her mouth. It's not that bad. After loading up Chloe's spoils, they settled into the spacious BMW M8. Leo, you change cars way too often, Chloe said, fastening her seatbelt as she admired the luxurious interior. You can't just burn money like this. What happened to that Mercedes? I thought you just bought it not long ago. Did you sell it? No, still have it. Speaking of which, have you gotten your license yet? Leo asked, buckling up. I could lend it to you. It would be more convenient for you to visit your parents, and when I'm busy, you could drive your bestie and roommates around. Forget it. I failed the written test 4 times, Chloe said, sticking out her tongue playfully. The driving instructor said I was a special talent. I just gave up after that. Then you definitely shouldn't buy a car, Leo advised sincerely. If any driving school is crazy enough to give you a license, you treat the highway like your living room. What's that supposed to mean? I just wasn't taking it seriously. You're being biased against women drivers. Chloe huffed, then added dreamily. Anyway, I'm not planning on getting one. I have you, don't I? From now on, you're my personal chauffeur. Leo nodded indulgently. All right. I guess this is what I get for being a homebody with a social butterfly girlfriend. Well, it's getting late, Leo said casually as they pulled out of the garage and stopped at the first red light. Should I take you back to campus or to your parents' place? Chloe had been happily nibbling her cotton candy and taking cute selfies. Hearing such an outrageous question come from Leo's mouth, she snapped her head up and stared at him in disbelief. They hadn't seen each other in so long, and she had even hinted that she was fine with getting drinks with ice now. And he was offering to take her back to school? When did it become so harmless? Just as she was about to drop another hint, she noticed the faint, teasing smile on his face. It was obvious. The jerk was messing with her again. Chloe crossed her arms, her brows furrowed. She turned her head away defiantly, her pigtails swinging. Oof. Then take me back to school. Nope. Leo grinned and leaned over, taking a huge bite of the fluffy cotton candy in her hand. You rotten pig, stop it. Chloe watched in horror as her cotton candy was devoured in one go, a huge wad of pink fluff disappearing into his mouth. Pretty sweet, Leo commented smugly. Chloe wanted to pinch him, but seeing as he was driving, she had to settle for fuming. Leo, you owe me 10 of these next time. You got it. Leo agreed cheerfully. He opened the navigation app and started searching for nearby hotels. Ding. Navigating to the Grandview International Hotel. The journey is 8 miles and will take approximately 10 minutes. Waze will continue to guide you. Hearing the word hotel from the navigation system, Chloe's heart started to pound. Even though they had been intimate before, the still innocent Chloe couldn't help but feel a wave of embarrassment. Her beautiful face turned a visible shade of red. Just then, Leo's hand crept quietly under her pleated skirt, gently exploring the smooth skin of her pale thigh. Chloe flinched, her heart racing. She slapped his mischievous hand away. Don't mess around. Just drive. Ahem. So, have you been following the news about that celebrity cheating scandal? I remember you were a big fan of his. Chloe wasn't a promiscuous girl. It was normal for her to resist such advances. But Leo was experienced. He kept his hand on her thigh, shamelessly continuing his exploration while talking about something completely unrelated. The bottom line was, with a girl who already liked you, all you needed was persistence. If a guy wanted to win the girl, he couldn't be thin-skinned. As long as she didn't actively resist and had feelings for you, a little shamelessness could get you pretty far. Besides, he and Chloe had already gone all the way. As long as he didn't push it too far, she wouldn't have a major reaction. Her rejection was just shyness. You are so shameless. After being rebuffed a few more times, Chloe glared at him, a cute, helpless pout on her face. She stopped slapping his hand away. She was even worried that his reaching over would affect his driving, so she subtly shifted her white-socked legs a little closer to him. Noticing this small movement, Leo's breathing quickened. "Babe," he said, his voice thick with excitement, "how about I pull over somewhere quiet, and we can?" "No." Chloe knew exactly what he was thinking and shut him down immediately. "Just drive, or you don't get to touch me at all." "Hi, Leo Shepard. I made a reservation on the app. 2 people, deluxe room, 1 night, thank you." At the front desk of the Grandview International Hotel, Leo stood with an arm around Chloe's slim waist, handing his ID to the clerk. He then turned to Chloe expectantly. "Babe, your ID? I needed to check us in." Chloe hesitated for a moment before pulling out her ID and handing it over, her face burning as she avoided the clerk's friendly, all-knowing smile. The clerk presented the key cards with both hands. "Here you are, Mr. Shepard. Your room is 220. "Thanks." Leo took the keys and eagerly guided Chloe toward the elevator. This time, Chloe still felt a sense of reluctant compliance, but it was better than the last time. Back then, Leo had to talk himself blue in the face to coax and trick her into the room, and even then, she'd try to back out halfway through. It was a Saturday, and the hotel was busy. The elevator was filled with couples, and Leo and Chloe stood at the very back, imagining that everyone around them was here for the same reason, and seeing the ecstatic look on Leo's face. Chloe felt a mix of shame and annoyance. She pinched his arm hard, making him suck in a sharp breath. Leo rubbed his arm and shot her a triumphant look that said, "Go ahead and be smug now. We'll see who's in charge in a little bit." They got off the elevator and found their room. Leo swiped the key card, opened the door, and pulled a stiff-legged Chloe into the lavishly decorated room. After his experiences with Isabel and half a year of conditioning from the system, Leo had evolved from a socially awkward introvert into a worldly man of pleasure. He walked into the hotel room as if it were his own home, expertly slipping on the provided slippers and emptying his pockets, phone, cigarettes, lighter, car keys, onto the table, onto the TV. Chloe's reaction was the complete opposite. She walked in hesitantly, first curiously examining the room's decor before turning a shy, nervous, and reproachful gaze on Leo. This was only her second time in a hotel, and the first time had been under duress. Her shyness was perfectly normal. If she had walked in without a care in the world, then he would have been the one to worry. New Year's is coming up soon. Are you going back home to celebrate or staying in Portland? Leo pulled Chloe onto his lap and brought up a distracting topic. "Should we tell your parents you're coming to my hometown to visit?" The bait worked. Chloe opened her mouth, asking nervously, "Huh? We're meeting the extended family already? Isn't that a little fast?" "I think it's fine, but I'm asking for your opinion." Leo's eyes roamed over Chloe's exquisite figure, lingering on her long legs clad in white knee-high socks. "I'd have to ask my parents first, only if they agree." "Hey, what are you doing?" While Chloe was thinking, Leo's hand had gently come to rest on her sock-clad calf. "Ew," Leo whispered, his lips brushing against her flushed earlobe. "You." Chloe pressed his hand, stopping its gradual advance. She stared into his intense eyes for a moment, then sighed in resignation. I need to take a shower." "Okay, go ahead," Leo said, releasing her. He gave her perky but a light pat as she stood up. Chloe brandished a small fist at him, her fierce expression utterly adorable. She took a robe and, wearing the disposable slippers, disappeared into the bathroom. A moment later, the sound of running water filled the room. Leo sat contentedly on the edge of the bed and pulled out his phone to pass the time. He would never get tired of this little ritual of coaxing a girl into the shower. He felt that this kind of hesitant, half-reluctant atmosphere was what made dating so exciting. If a girl came to a hotel with him and was more eager than he was, it just wouldn't be as fun. Besides, Chloe's personality was so lively and bold. This shy version of her would probably disappear after they dated a little longer. He wouldn't be surprised if, in the future, she was the one constantly begging him to get a room. Just then, his phone buzzed with a notification. It was a friend request. "My__behaving has requested to add you as a friend." Why is my girlfriend's bestie adding me? Leo wondered, accepting the request. Maya's affinity for him was only 10, so he didn't think anything of it. Plus, this was his girlfriend's best friend. You don't mess around in your own backyard. My__behaving. Started yet? Smiling face with horns. Whoa, coming in hot. Leo was taken aback. He typed back, feigning ignorance. What are you talking about? Smiling face with halo. My__behaving. The fact that you're replying means Chloe's probably still in the shower, right? Offline mode. You didn't add me just to ask boring questions, did you? Grinning face with sweat. My_underscore behaving. Just wanted to add you as a friend. Hope you don't get the wrong idea. Don't you go eyeing the food in another pot when you have a full bowl at home. You don't mess around in your own backyard. My_underscore behaving. Sent you the account info. Help me climb when you have time. That's it. I'm going to find some food. Don't get pregnant. What the hell is wrong with her? Leo thought, half amused, half bewildered. He couldn't figure out how two girls with such different personalities had become such close friends. But then he remembered Maya's family situation and her unusual taste in men, and he felt a pang of sympathy. Wait, didn't Will add her as a friend? He suddenly remembered his college roommate, Will, getting Maya's number at their last get-together. He wondered how that was going. He scrolled through his contacts, found Will, and sent a message. I remember you got Maya's number last time. How's that going? Any progress? Ocean Awakens. Dude, don't even ask. I asked her to duo in League the other day, and she said she was playing PUBG. But then I checked, and her PUBG account wasn't even online. Loudly crying face.